The opinions and views expressed in the following program are those of the speakers and the host, and do not necessarily reflect those of Yoakley Scott Corporation and your sports network.
Yeah, I've been closer to Jesus before, so can you help me out? Oh, can you help me out? Am I on my own? Am I on my own? Or can you help me out? Am I on my own? Am I on my own? Or can you help me out? Can you help me out? I've been scared to look at my soul. I've been afraid I would follow alone. Yeah, afraid of the things I've been told.
Welcome into a Friday edition of Running Point, sponsored in part by Greenwood Chevrolet on Mahoning Avenue in Austintown. The MP Vivo Heating and Air Conditioning Hotline open for business. 330-886-0813. That's 330-886-0813. Basketball, and more basketball on the network tonight. A lot of boys basketball beginning at 5:30. The JV game between Lakeview and Struthers from Lakeview High School. That game will be broadcast. Then at 7 o'clock, all of these games are at 7 o'clock, give or take a few minutes, depending on where the JV game is. Fitch will travel to Boardman. East will go to Canfield. Camel is at Champion. Brookfield at Crestview. Larry Scragg and I will do the play-by-play of that game. And if it's as any good as the girls' game last night, buckle your seatbelts. It should be fun. Valley Christian is at Valley Christian is at East Palestine. Steubenville is at East Liverpool. Indian Creek is at Edison. Read the script, Ron. Indian Creek at Edison. Hubbard will travel to Girard. Newton Falls going to LeBray. Struthers will take on Lakeview. And again, the JV game will be broadcast as well. Maplewood is making the trip from Trumbull County down to Columbiana County to take on Leetonia. And for the first time all year long, the Bears are finally healthy. Marco Ferri and Joe Guido will be ready to play. So I believe the Bears are healthy for the first time this year as a complete unit. Columbiana will travel to Lisbon. Jefferson is at Niles. Lowellville at Springfield. Alliance at West Branch. And McDonald will travel to Berlin Center to take on Western Reserve. All of the games, except for the Lakeview Struthers JV game, all the varsity games are going to be starting at or near 7 o'clock, and you know the drill by now. The JV games start at 5:30, and depending on how fast the JV games are or how slow the JV games are, that's going to determine when we're going to be seeing varsity basketball. But plenty of basketball on the network tonight. As a matter of fact, the varsity games, we got 3, 6, 9, 12... 16 games, varsity basketball games on the docket tonight. And make sure, if you're not going to be watching your favorite team, well, then make sure you check out Open Look. Open Look with Mike Ackelson and the fellas down here in the studios. It'll be fun. It'll be fun. They'll be doing a lot of no-look passes. Now let's go to Edison. A little no-look pass here. Let's go to Edison. Open Look tonight at the HQ. That would be YSN headquarters in East Palestine. Open Look tonight. So this should be an awful lot of fun, and hopefully we will provide a really, really good game from Crestview tonight between the Rebels and the Brookfield Warriors. Last night, girls basketball made mention. Crestview sending Brookfield to their first defeat. Good defensive struggle between these two teams. Rebels get it done 37-28. Just a really nice inside presence last night by Trinity Miller and Krista Perry. And I swear to God, if I call Krista Katy Perry one more time, I'm going to just slit my own throat. Good God. Krista Perry, 10 points last night. Solid defense between her and Trinity Miller. Everyone was getting after it defensively. Both teams were getting after it defensively. Sophia Hook, a game-high 17 points last night for Brookfield. They suffered their first defeat of the campaign, now 5-1 on the campaign, 2-1 in the Mahoning Valley Athletic Conference Gray tier. Girard got a victory over Niles. The Lady Indians are 3-2. All 5 games played in the Northeast 8 Conference. South Range gets a victory over Struthers last night, 38-17. Poland a winner over Lakeview, 49-27. Springfield 7 better than Waterloo. McDonald, they're continuing to roll. They beat Jackson Milton 61-31. Harding and Liberty. This was an interesting game. Liberty moved up a couple of divisions, and I made mention of this. Monday, I saw Liberty run Crestview off the floor, and this is a team that is comprised mainly of freshmen. Mainly freshmen. There's one sophomore on this team, and I want to say 1 or 2 juniors. I believe 2 juniors, 1 sophomore, and the rest of this team is freshmen. They were only down by 4 points at halftime to a very, very good Division I team in Warren Harding. Now, Harding extended their halftime lead by 11 points in the second half, and they beat Liberty 67-52. That's a damn good showing for Liberty. And I can tell you right now, D3, and I know South Range has an unbelievable team, and I think Crestview is pretty fantastic. Brookfield has a really, really good team, and there's some other teams in the league in D3 that are going to make things very interesting. I know Ursuline is Division III, and they'll always make things interesting. I'm going to tell you right now, keep an eye on Liberty. That is a very, very talented basketball team. And the scary part is everybody's back next year. Everyone's back next year. There are no seniors on that team. And Liberty's playing some damn good basketball right now. Western Reserve blew up Sebring. Western Reserve goes to 8-2 on the campaign. And D4, they're tough. They're going to be a tough nut to crack. Although I will say this, 2 teams that played down in Leetonia last night can play with anybody in Division 4. Valley Christian knocked off Leetonia last night, 46-44. Bears only shot 22% from the floor, and they lost this game from the free throw line, 19 of 29. And I have said this for the longest time. If you cannot hit 70% from the free throw line, you better start working. 70% should be the benchmark for the team, and 70% of 29, I believe, and I want to do some quick arithmetic here, because I'm going to say 70% of 29 should be 20. Let me look here real quick. Yeah, it's 20. All right, that's only one more point. Okay, 19 of 29. I thought 19 of 29 was a little less, but 20 is the point. So yeah, okay, 1 point there. Obviously, shooting 22% from the floor is something that they lost the game there as well. But 19 of 29 isn't as bad as I thought it was. Come on, Ron, do the arithmetic a little bit better. Anyway, really good game last night. Valley Christian knocking off Leetonia last night, 46-44, and both of those teams are going to be tough to beat in Division 4 as well. So, solid win for Valley Christian going down to Leetonia to knock off the Bears. Some good basketball. Good basketball played last night. Newton Falls knocked off LeBray in girls basketball. So the MVAC gray tier is going to be a lot of fun. And again, that's where Liberty is. And Crestview is 2-3 in the gray. I think they're 8-4, but the paper says 8-5. Brookfield is 2-1 in the grades here. I know that there's some other teams in Trumbull County that are doing pretty well for themselves as well. One boys game that was played yesterday, East knocked off Liberty 73-62 as the Golden Bears are trying to get some games in. Well, both teams are trying to get some games in. And like I said, it's going to be a daunting task. For Liberty, they have 12 league games, and they beat Crestview on Tuesday nights. So they'll play their league games, and according to the coaching staff, 4 non-conference games that will get them to 16. And we have said this ad nauseum. If you can get a Trumbull County school, if you can get somewhere between 15 and 18, you should be in pretty good shape come tournament time. Should be in pretty good shape come tournament time. So a lot of games on the network tonight, a lot of really, really good basketball games to look forward to. If you aren't really interested in seeing a game but checking out Mike Ackelson and the boys, do so by going to ysnlive.com. Open Look will start at 7 o'clock tonight with Mike and the fellas. Should be an awful lot of fun. Mike Ackelson, thinking of the what they did during football season, it's essentially going to be the same thing, except less crazy. I don't think we're going to be calling Omaha 1,000,001 times like we did in football season, but Open Look will be an awful lot of fun, and the fun starts at 7 o'clock tonight. This weekend, divisional playoff football, and this is going to be entertaining to say the least. If you're a Browns fan, how you feeling about this one? I got to say right now, the Cleveland Browns are playing with house money. If the Browns lose this game on Sunday, even if they get absolutely destroyed by Kansas City on Sunday, they're playing with house money right now. They've already accomplished as much as most of the experts had said. Only the knuckleheads would have sat back and said, well, the Browns are going to the Super Bowl this year. Nah, stop. You weren't even above 500 at any point in time since, 2007. The Browns accomplished that by going 11-5. And they got a wild card win over Pittsburgh, in Pittsburgh, a place they hadn't won since 2003. Everything that could have been accomplished by the Browns this year, realistically, has been accomplished. They're officially playing with house money. If they go into Kansas City and shock the world and knock off the defending Super Bowl champions, well, there you go. Your dream season continues, and you go into the AFC title game and see what happens. But they're playing with house money. There is absolutely, positively is zero, and I do mean zero pressure on the Cleveland Browns. None whatsoever. They're playing with house money. They're a 10-point underdog in this game against Kansas City. Why do I get a strange feeling that not only are the Browns going to cover, but they're going to upset Kansas City? And I honestly, I just don't know why, but everyone's coming back. Now, the only person right now that we haven't heard as far as him officially coming back, the only person that we have heard is Bitonio. And he's huge. Look, if you get Bitonio back, now the offensive line is ready to go. Now, you have depth problems. As long as the 5 offensive linemen stay healthy, you're ready to go. And I have said this since Monday. The only way the Cleveland Browns are going to beat the Kansas City Chiefs on Sunday afternoon is by cutting out a third to a half of Kansas City's possessions. In a normal NFL game, a team's going to get anywhere from 10 to 12 possessions. Cleveland's goal should limit Kansas City's possessions to no more than 8. And you do that by long sustaining drives. Now, most importantly, in the long sustaining drives, you do touchdowns. You don't settle for field goals. Field goals are not going to win this ball game. You got to score touchdowns. And the biggest thing is when Kansas City, if Cleveland is fortunate enough to stop Kansas City and Kansas City has to punt, much like a team like Alabama Incorporated, you got to score a touchdown after forcing Kansas City to punt. You got to score a touchdown. If Kansas City scores a touchdown in their last possession, you got to score a touchdown in the next possession. You always have to have an answer for Kansas City. And when Kansas City's not scoring, you got to score on that next possession. Long sustaining drives. There's two things that I'm going to be looking at actually three things. Three things that I'm going to be looking at. And if the Browns are successful in all three of these numbers, they're going to beat Kansas City on Sunday. First of all, you can't have more than one turnover. You turn the ball over more than one time, lights out, you're done. You're not, unless you force Kansas City and force Mahomes into doing something that he normally doesn't do very often, and that's turn the ball over. Browns cannot turn the ball over more than one time. You get your mulligan, that's it. Now, the good news is Baker has been really, really good since the Cincinnati game. He has done a very nice job managing the game and not throwing picks. That's number one. Number two, Chubb and Hunt have to get it going. And I said this on Monday, I'll say it again. I think that Kareem Hunt is going to play pissed off. I think he's going to play pissed off because he believes Kansas City gave up on him. Now, look, the sordid past of Kareem Hunt notwithstanding, and everyone can sit back and go, well, you know, I mean, he did what he did to this woman. They got to let him go. Okay, well, I will venture and turn that around and say Tyreek Hill did something just as bad. He's still a member of the Kansas City Chiefs. It's not cut and dry. If Kareem Hunt and Nick Chubb run for over $140 combined, the Cleveland Browns have no more than one turnover, and they have the football for more than 33 minutes, Browns are winning this game. Browns will win this game. If those three things come to fruition, Browns are winning this game. I think I don't know why, because Kansas City is an unbelievable team. No two ways about it. But I have a sneaking suspicion that Cleveland is not only going to cover the 10 points, they're going to upset Kansas City. I have a sneaking suspicion of that happening. I don't know why. I just do. And who knows what the Browns are going to be facing the next week, because I have no read whatsoever on Baltimore and Buffalo. I don't feel nearly as bad or uptight about this game against Baltimore, and I probably should, because Baltimore's better than Indianapolis, even though Indy's was the only team in the entire playoffs that were top 10 in offense and defense. And they outplayed Buffalo, but Buffalo got the job done. And look, as I said, when people were saying, oh, they didn't deserve to win, well, give me 3 more games like that with Buffalo winning, and I'll be the happiest camper in the world. That means my team won a Super Bowl. First time I get to celebrate it. Well, it's one at a time, and you got to play the Ravens. The thing that could be an equalizer or could shift the game in Buffalo's favor is the forecast. Lamar Jackson has never played a game in snow. The snow in Orchard Park is going to be coming, and it's going to start coming down in the second half. Right now, they're calling for 1 to 3 inches of snow. And it could be more depending on where this winter storm is blowing. If it's just purely lake effect snow, 1 to 3 inches of snow. If it comes a little bit closer to the lake, Orchard Park is right on Lake Erie. It's in an area where they get they and Hamburg, which is the town over from Orchard Park, get absolutely abused in the wintertime. They measure snow by feet up there. So 1 to 3 inches of snow, it could very easily turn into 3 to 5 inches of snow in a bat of an eye up there. And if the weather turns really ugly, Buffalo might have an advantage in this game. And that sounds funny because Baltimore is the much better team running the football. But Lamar Jackson's never played a game in the snow before. I think this is just going to be a fascinating game. The one topper in this, again, is the wind is going to be absolutely brutal. 15 to 25 miles an hour. They're talking about wind gusts over 30 miles an hour. That's why Josh Allen is in Buffalo. Guy's got a cannon for an arm. He'll be able to throw a football through the teeth of that wind. It shouldn't bother the Bills. It'll bother the Ravens if they try to throw the ball. And again, if Buffalo jumps out to a big lead or jumps out to an early lead, unlike what Tennessee did, giving up a 10-point lead, those were in dry conditions. It was on a dry track. If Buffalo jumps out to a lead Saturday in the crappy conditions in Orchard Park, I don't think the Ravens come back and win this thing. Now, having said that, I can see where the Ravens beat the Bills because that running attack, especially with Lamar Jackson, is unbelievable. And now you add J.K. Dobbins, that's lethal. It definitely is lethal. Bills have their work cut out for them on Saturday. No two ways about it. Sunday game should be a blast. I made mention. It wouldn't surprise me if the Browns upset Kansas City. And the Sunday night game, get your popcorn. Good Lord. Just get your popcorn. This is going to be a blast. Brady, Breeze. I thought I heard this morning on Dan Patrick's show, between the two of them, they have thrown for nearly 170,000 miles, postseason included. Good Lord, that's crazy. That 170,000 yards, excuse me. 170,000 yards between the two, if you include their postseason numbers. Good night. That's ridiculous. And both of these, look, I mean, New Orleans has beaten Tampa Bay 2 times. And, well, hard to beat a team 3 times, although statistically it's not as hard as one would think. This will be a fun game. And then the early game on Saturday, the Rams in Green Bay. I'd feel a lot better for the Rams' chances if Goff was healthy. But he's still dealing with a thumb injury, even though he's going to play. And the Rams will bring it defensively. No two ways about that. But Green Bay is, they're good. And at Lambeau, they're really, really good. So if you twisted my arm, I'm staying away from Bills and Ravens. All I will say about that game is it screams overtime on Saturday night. It just does. It screams overtime. I think the Packers get past the Rams. Sunday, honest to God, I think Cleveland upsets Kansas City, and I don't know why. I just have a really good feeling about what Cleveland can do against Kansas City, and I've always made a history of betting against Brady, and that's probably not a wise thing to do, but I'm going to do it again because I think New Orleans' defense is so good. It's good. There's no two ways about it. So I got the Saints in Green Bay in the NFC title game, and I got Cleveland either traveling to Baltimore or Buffalo. Hell, I hope my Bills win. I can't even get a read on this game. But I'm not as uptight about it as I was last week with Indianapolis, if that makes any sense. All right, 330-886-0813, the MP Vivo Heating and Air Conditioning Hotline, open for business. If you're a Browns fan, hit me up. Let me know what you think. How you feeling about Sunday's game? If everyone's back, and right now everyone seems to be off the COVID list except for Bitonio. If Bitonio gets off the list, I really like Cleveland's chances. I really like Cleveland's chances on Sunday if Bitonio gets off the list. All right, 330-886-0813. The MP Vivo Heating and Air Conditioning Hotline, open for business. We'll take a timeout, be back with more. It's a Friday edition of Running Point. Plenty of games on the network tonight. Oh, my goodness. 16 games on the network tonight. We've got Open Look. That's going to be on the air tonight as well. So if you don't have a rooting interest in any of our 16 games tonight, but you want to check out the high school basketball, Mike Ackelson and the boys here at HQ, the YSN headquarters in East Palestine, Open Look is tonight, and they will have round ball all over the place. So all 16 of our games tonight will probably get some kind of publicity, as they will go all around these 16 games tonight. I will be at Crestview alongside Larry Scragg, and we will broadcast the Crestview Brookfield boys basketball game tonight from Rebels Gym. One note, we had been saying that Crestview was playing Western Reserve on Saturday, and that was originally the schedule. Western Reserve was originally on the schedule. It is now Warren JFK. Warren JFK is on the schedule, and that game is going to be at 11 a.m. on Saturday morning. So 11 a.m. Saturday morning, Crestview taking on Warren JFK. We were told earlier in the week it was going to be Western Reserve. Yesterday I was told it's not going to be Western Reserve. It is, in fact, going to be Warren JFK. So the Lady Eagles will make the trip from Warren down into Columbiana County, and they will take on Crestview. Girls basketball Saturday morning on ysnlive.com. That game will start at 11 a.m. All right, 330-886-0813. Back in a bit. It's a Friday edition of Running Point, presented by Greenwood Chevrolet on Mahoning Avenue in Austintown.
21 News.
Let's get right to our top story tonight.
More experienced reporters.
A new Wilmington restaurant.
GM Lordstown.
Telling more local stories.
We'll look at efforts
Boy is recovering from a broken.
Around our valley.
Community in Niles.
We are here in Youngstown, right up.
Because you expect
It's important for everyone. No place like home.
more local news.
In Mercer County Court.
21 News is our valley's #1 local news.
Welcome home to a home made homier with Baird Brothers Fine Hardwoods. Inspiration starts at BairdBrothers.com and is turned into reality when high-quality hardwoods are delivered right to your home. Baird Brothers has the latest design trends, shiplap and skinny lap interior siding, antique oak rustic flooring, and, well, you'll find them all at BairdBrothers.com. Ordered easily, delivered conveniently, enjoyed comfortably. BairdBrothers.com.
WRS Wealth Advisors, the area's premier wealth and retirement specialists. Located on South Avenue in Boardman.
Hi, this is Jim Myers with Myers Family Insurance, your local Medicare and retirement resource. We're excited to have sports back. Whether you're on the field or cheering from the stands, sports unifies communities and brings hope for the future. We're all one team working together. At Myers Family Insurance, we know the importance of a great team.
Our team continues to grow to help you with your Medicare and retirement needs.
The annual election period is October 15th through December 7th. Now's the time to make sure your plan continues to meet your needs for the upcoming year.
Call today.
Hi, I'm Colin Chupa. And I'm Kelsey Clem from K-Squared Marketing.
Our boutique marketing firm specializes in media planning and buying, public relations, event marketing strategies, and strategic sponsorships. We can integrate our services with your existing game plan, or we can be your entire marketing team. Your goals, our game plan. Let's win together. Call K-Squared Marketing at 330-623-2730 or visit ksquared.marketing to learn more.
When looking for home design inspiration, don't just be inspired, be Baird inspired. Whether new or remodeling, Baird Brothers has the latest trends like shiplap to refresh your home. Go from inspiration to installation with our wide selection of in-stock American hardwoods. From the rustic charm of antique oak to the warmth of traditional cherry, Baird Brothers has what you need to make your home inspiring. Baird Brothers, our family's heritage, your family's home.
Welcome back to a Friday edition of Running Points presented by Greenwood Chevrolet on Mahoning Avenue in Austintown. The MP Vivo Heating and Air Conditioning Hotline open for business, 330-886-0813. That's 330-886-0813. All right, I had a question. Since we should be a lot deeper into the basketball season. Unfortunately, as everyone knows, COVID has pretty much wrecked Trumbull County and Easton Cheney and a couple of other teams in the YSN family. For the most part, everyone, knock on wood, everyone's going to get minimum 15 games before we get into the tournaments. Let me ask, and you can chime in on the MP Vivo Heating and Air Conditioning Hotline at 330-886-0813. Have you seen a basketball team that you feel comfortable, and it could be a boys team, it could be a girls team. Have you seen a team that you can feel very comfortable saying, this team is going to make a very long tournament run? Now, for me, long tournament run is minimum district championship game. Now, for some, that would be 3 wins. In a normal tournament, if you're not one of the 4 seeded teams, in a normal tournament, top 4 seeds normally get the first round off, and they play in the sectional title game, and then they play in the district semifinals. So that's 2 games. And actually, district final would be 3. Not necessarily winning the district championship, but appearing in a district championship game. If you're not seeded in the top 4, it's 4 games. If you're seeded in the top 4, it's 3 games. You have to win 2. And the non-seeded teams have to win 3 just to get into the district championship. So my definition, and we'll use the definition, a lengthy tournament run is a tournament run that is no smaller than a district title appearance. So how many teams, or is there a team that you have seen this year where you believe without a shadow of a doubt that team is going to be bare minimum in a district championship game? So now I have to think about all of this because, well, I've seen, with Crestview, the boys and the girls, and their opponents. Cardinal Mooney is going to be Division II, and that's probably, I don't think they're going to get district finals. I mean, I'd love to see it. I'm trying to think of a team that I can say without any hesitation, going to get to a district championship game, minimum district championship game. And honest to God, I don't know. And let me preface all of this first of all by saying obviously they have a chance. My whole thing is without any question, I don't have any doubt whatsoever. This team is going to go to a district final game. And I don't think I have seen a team right now this year where I can say unequivocally, oh, God, this team is going to be in the district championship. No question about it. I haven't seen a team yet this year. I got to be honest. I have not seen a team yet this year. Now, there's plenty of teams that I think have a really good chance at getting to a district championship game. I think there are teams that I've seen this year, and at the top of the list, the Crestview girls. I think when they're on their A game, they can definitely play and have a deep tournament run, especially if Krista Perry and the seniors are on their A game. Yeah, I think that this team has a long tournament run in them. Hell, last year they went to the district championship and lost to South Range. And most of the kids are back this year. So I would think they have a chance, but they're not a slam dunk. For me, they're not a slam dunk. And I don't think that I have seen a team this year that is without question this team will be a district championship team or appear in the district championship game. I've not seen that basketball team. I think the closest team in the boys probably Springfield. And they're D3 this year. I'm not ready to coronate them to be there's no question in my mind they're going to be in the district championship game. Not saying that they can't be. I'm just saying that's not. I can't say they're definitely going to be in a district championship game. They have talent, no question about that. But it didn't look like when I saw them play against Crestview. It just didn't look like a team that where I'm just without question. Oh, this is one of the two best teams in Division III. There's no question about that. I didn't get that vibe. I think they have a very good chance, but I didn't get that vibe. So I'm trying to think of the rest of the teams on both the boys and girls Crestview schedule, and honest to God, I can't think of any team that I got the vibe of. There is no question about this. Barring a major injury, this team is going to be a district championship caliber team. This team will be in the district championship game, and they're going to have a lengthy tournament run. Now, honestly, I think that there are teams that I've seen this year that if everything goes right, if everything falls into place, they most definitely not only have a chance of going to a district championship game, but winning a district championship. There's a handful of teams that from that realm, there are a handful of teams that I've seen that I can sit back and make an argument. Oh, absolutely. If this team gets everything, if they have everything in place and everything goes right, they most certainly can win a district championship. And I'll right off the top of my head, Liberty girls, even though they're very young and they have virtually nobody leaving this team, literally nobody leaving this team at the end of the season. At least nobody's graduating. Now, kids could sit back and go, well, I don't want to go out for basketball next year. Hopefully that's not the case. I could see the Liberty girls making a really big run in the tournament. I saw McDonald and Western Reserve, but it wasn't in person. It was on TV. Obviously, both of those teams, they're good enough. But you know, the game that I saw on TV, both teams played sloppy. I didn't think we saw the best of either one of those teams. But the potential is, the potential for both of these programs is crazy. We've talked about it in the offseason when Tony Mattizi came into the McDonald job. Good Lord. This is a McDonald team that has, Constantino's back. The Howard girls are back. Unbelievably talented basketball program. And they're 5-1. They got a victory over Jackson Milton last night, 61-31. And Coach Mattizi is he's battling COVID right now, so it's a situation where they're in a tough situation. But as far as teams that I've seen live, I can't make a case for anyone that I've seen live where I can sit back and say, without any hesitation, this team's going to go to a district championship game. Now, the one team, and I'm not saying this because Mr. Lisbon came into but I wasn't at the Crestview Lisbon game. I didn't broadcast that game, so I wasn't there. But I will tell you this right now: Lisbon has Lisbon and McDonald boys, but I have not seen either one of physically. I think I saw a small, tiny bit of the second half with the Lisbon Crestview game. I haven't seen either one of those two teams play live. And I think my viewing of Lisbon has been 5 minutes tops, because I wasn't able to do that game against Crestview, and I was busy that entire day anyway. And I know Crestview took them into overtime, and it was, the second game of the year for both of the teams. But if Brownfield and McCullough are on their A game, and then, oh, by the way, you add the freshman, Sifke, if they're on their A game, that's a team that can, that's a team that can go places. McDonald, that's a team that can go places. But I haven't seen either one of those teams in person. Now, hopefully, when Crestview is playing a road game, hopefully I can find a way to watch one of these teams play. Ideally, watch both of these teams play. I've also not seen Boardman play this year, and I'd love to see the Spartans play. Obviously, I haven't seen Cheney play this year. I haven't seen Struthers play this year. I haven't seen those three teams. And clearly, if you're talking about especially Cheney and Struthers, there's no two ways about this. They're most definitely that caliber of a team where they should be able to make, at the bare minimum, a trip to the district championship game. But again, I haven't seen either one of those teams play, so I can't say that for certainty because I've not seen them play. I've seen most of the area teams, but the teams that I have seen play, and based on Crestview in their schedule, I know that I've seen Lowellville play. Lowellville girls have played a couple of teams. Saw Leetonia girls play. Saw the Springfield girls play a couple of times. I've seen the Mooney girls. There's plenty of girls teams that I've seen. East Liverpool, and then for the guys, I've seen obviously Crestview. I've seen Heartland. who else have I seen? Obviously, Liberty, and they were really good on Tuesday night. Oh, my God. Especially Marion Dawson. Jesus. He's still blocking shots. He's 3 days removed from Crestview High School, and balls are still flying into the bleachers. He's still blocking shots. Good Lord, what a game. Obviously, there have been some good basketball, but of all the teams that I've seen this year, with all due respect, not one of them has me thinking without any hesitation, you're a district championship caliber. You're definitely going to be in the district championship. I haven't seen that type of a basketball team yet. Now, it's not like I've seen everybody. I haven't seen everybody. As I mentioned, I haven't seen the Struthers boys. I haven't seen the Cheney boys. I haven't seen Boardman boys. I haven't seen I saw the McDonald girls, but on TV, and it was early in the season, and they looked sloppy, and I'd like to see them again, in about 2 weeks, 3 weeks. Love to see them again in about 2 or 3 weeks when they're starting to hit their peak. The South Range girls, I haven't seen them yet this year. Now, they're the defending district champions, and Jeff Fischel has most everyone back. I haven't seen this team. So I can't make a decision one way or the other. I haven't seen this team yet. If you have seen a high school basketball team that you believe without a shadow of a doubt, no shadow of a doubt, this team is going to be in the district finals without a shadow of a doubt, hit me up on the MP Vivo Heating and Air Conditioning hotline. I'd love to hear which team it is that you've seen that you come away from watching that game and you know for certain that, or you believe for certain that this team, barring an injury, is definitely going to be in the district championship game. Hit me up on the MP Vivo Heating and Air Conditioning hotline, 330-886-0813. 16, count them, 16 games on the network tonight. Also on the network tonight, Open Look. Mike Ackelson and the boys will be at HQ, YSN headquarters in the beautiful town of East Palestine, Ohio. They'll be in headquarters doing Open Look tonight. That nonsense, and I say that in all loving manners because it's great. I love the word nonsense, though. That craziness, that nonsense craziness begins at 7 o'clock tonight. Open Look tonight at 7 o'clock from YSN headquarters in East Palestine on ysnlive.com. Let's take a time out, be back with more. It is a Friday edition of Running Point, presented by Greenwood Chevrolet on Mahoning Avenue in Austintown. Back in a bit.
Baird Brothers remains your source for fine hardwood products. For the time being, we're open for customer pickup only on weekdays, 9 a.m. to 4 p.m., and Saturday from 9 a.m. till noon. Place your order online at BairdBrothers.com. Baird Brothers, for the place you love.
Quality, customer service, and integrity. Those are the 4 words that have driven our success since 1957 at Joe Dickey Electric.
Joe Dickey Electric is one Mahoning Valley landmark business that stays current with the requirements of our customers. Family owned and managed, we are an electrical contractor and energy solutions provider. Every member of our team adds to his or her skill set through ongoing training. Residential, commercial, industrial, automotive, and more. We keep ahead of the needs of our customers with a fleet of more than 50 vehicles and 24/7 emergency service, so you're never left in the dark.
The 4M Company, being an architect and construction manager for over 40 years, has had the opportunity to use many different electrical businesses for our projects. The depth, quality, and knowledge and attention to detail displayed by Dickey Electric makes them stand out above all the rest.
For state-of-the-art expertise and a timeless commitment to our customers, contact Joe Dickey Electric. We are everything electrical.
I went to Greenwood Chevrolet because
I was really interested in looking at the tracks.
Because I wanted my dream truck.
Because I've been going there for 20 years. I think whenever we go there, whatever car we're looking for, they have tremendous inventory.
If you're looking for people who care about you, Greenwood is the place to go.
You know, it's like family there. The girls know me in service. It's Miss Kim in the Tahoe.
I'm really happy that I went
to Greenwood Chevrolet.
Because they really went
the extra mile for me.
Now we're going the extra mile for you, only at Greenwood Chevrolet.
Local teams are heating up the hardwoods, and you can keep up with all the action on and off the court with Five Guys Hoop News all season long on 21 Sports.
Hello, I'm Greg Burbick with G. Burbick Farms. For the last 100 years, my family has farmed in the Columbiana and Mahoning counties. I began raising cattle in 1996 with the goal of providing a better product for you and your family on the dinner table. Our grass-fed and grain-supplemented Black Angus beef are raised with no hormones, steroids, or antibiotics. We're known for our hometown-friendly service and incredible tasting products. We're locally owned and have customers across the tri-state area. Our products go from our farm to your family. Stop by our farm on New Buffalo Road or visit us on the web at gburbickfarms.com. Don't forget to like us on Facebook. G. Burbick Farms, it just tastes better.
Hi, this is Tommy Clem, owner of WRS Insurance Solutions.
WRS Insurance Solutions is a local, independent agency that specializes in life, Medicare, long-term care, and disability products. Call us at 330-953-3722 or visit us at wrsinsuranceSolutions.com to learn more.
Good luck to all the student athletes in the Valley.
Right now is a great time to get more for your trade-in at Tri-State Ford and drive home in a new or pre-owned vehicle. Choose from our great selection of new Ford models or pre-owned vehicles. Plus, get the Tri-State Ford Advantage, including a 10-year, 200,000-mile warranty and more. At Tri-State Ford, we'll pay you top dollar for your trade, but you don't have to purchase one of ours to sell us yours.
Customer focus, community driven. Tri-State Ford East Liverpool or visit tristateford.net.
Planning a project around your home or rental property? Trust the electrical service to the local experts with 62 years of serving the Mahoning Valley. Joe Dickey Electric is your local go-to source for responsive, reliable residential electrical work. From everyday maintenance and repairs to new installations, electrical upgrades, and safety inspections, no job is too big or too small. Call Joe Dickey Electric today, 800-549-3976, or visit DickeyElectric.com. That's DickeyElectric.com.
Welcome back to a Friday edition of Running Points presented by Greenwood Chevrolet on Mahoning Avenue in Austintown. The MP Vivo Heating and Air Conditioning Hotline open for business. 330-886-0813. That's 330-886-0813. 16 varsity games on the network tonight. One JV game. The JV game starting at 5:30 will pit Struthers traveling to Lakeview to take on the Bulldogs. Those two teams will play a varsity game tonight as well, and that game will also be heard and seen on the network. Varsity game starting somewhere around 7 o'clock tonight. And I say that last night, the Crestview game was well before 7 o'clock, mainly because the JV games was only 2 quarters long. And by the way, I have an editorial comment about that in just a little bit. But let me go through this schedule. Here's your 7 o'clock or somewhere in the vicinity of 7 o'clock varsity games. Fitch is at Boardman. East will travel to Canfield. Camel is at Champion. Brookfield is at Crestview. Valley Christian will venture to East Palestine. Steubenville is at East Liverpool. Indian Creek travels to Edison. Hubbard at Girard. Newton Falls visits LeBray. Lakeview hosts Struthers. Maplewood will come down from Trumbull County to Columbiana County to play Leetonia. Columbiana is at Lisbon. That's a good rivalry game. Jefferson at Niles. Lowellville goes to Springfield. Alliance is at West Branch, and McDonald visits Western Reserve. All of those games will start somewhere around 7 o'clock tonight. And at 7 o'clock tonight, you can also see Open Look with Mike Ackelson and the fellas from the YSN headquarters here in East Palestine. Okay. There's something that's going on that is becoming a very disturbing trend in high school basketball, and it needs to stop. It definitely needs to stop, and here it is. The 2-quarter game in JV ball. Okay, let me just start by saying I understand to a degree why the JV game is only 2 quarters long when they play the JV game at 2 quarters. It's mainly because the total number of kids in the program isn't that much, to the point where most of the kids on the program are all dressing in varsity. They're all dressing varsity, and they only have a certain amount of kids that can play junior varsity. I understand that. Let me respond by saying this. You're stunning the growth of the kids. Plain and simple. You're stunting the growth of the kids. On the JV squad, you're stunning their growth. I understand in a way, I get it in a way where, if you don't have a lot of numbers and a lot of these kids are playing junior varsity, but they're also dressing for varsity, and the thought of all this is, well, I can get 2 quarters here, I can get 2 quarters in the varsity game. Don't assume that. Don't assume that you're going to have those kids that are suited up for 2 quarters in the JV game, that they're going to get 2 more quarters in the varsity game, or 3 quarters, because you're allowed to play 5 quarters total in the 2 games. Don't assume that. I'm not in favor of 2-quarter junior varsity games. I think it's a terrible idea. I think it's a terrible disservice to the kids, and most importantly, in an area where we're trying to narrow the gap between our talent and the talent around us in northeastern Ohio, and obviously we're up against it because we're going into bigger communities. I mean, the Youngstown area, the Mahoning Valley, is not as big as Canton and Akron. It's not as big as the Cleveland area. So you're automatically behind the 8 ball in terms of, well, we don't have as much population as, as Stark and Summit County. We don't have as much population as Cuyahoga and the suburbs. So naturally, you don't have as many people population-wise. There's a pretty good chance that you're not going to have as many basketball players. There's another pretty good chance, statistically speaking, you're not going to have as much talent, and then it just goes down the drain from there. Let me back up. I sort of understand the whole idea of playing 2 quarters, but I'm not in favor of it. If we're going to make this area better in high school basketball, you can't stunt the growth of kids on the junior varsity team and tell them with a straight face, oh, by the way, you're only going to play 2 quarters tonight. If that trend it's already popular. If you continue in that trend, how do you expect a kid that plays junior varsity this year to become a much, much better player when he or she becomes a varsity player. It's kind of, you're stunning the growth of this kid. If you're only playing 2 quarters, you're essentially stunting the growth and saying, well, we're not going to give you as many quarters as the varsity. Wait a second. If anyone should be given 4 quarters, it should be the junior varsity, because clearly they're the ones that need the 4 quarters and need all the work that they can get so they can become varsity basketball players. It doesn't make any sense to me. I mean, I understand the argument. Don't get me wrong. I understand the argument, and the biggest argument is, well, this team only has 15 kids out for basketball. And if we're going to play 2 quarters in the junior varsity, then that means that a lot of their kids can play 2 extra quarters in varsity. But how often does that happen? You're assuming that all of these kids are going to get their 4 quarters. You're assuming that. Assumption and reality are 2 entirely different viewpoints. Assumption and reality are sometimes night and day. I'm just not in favor of 2-quarter JV games at all. Just a terrible idea, and it needs to stop, because all you're doing is stunning the growth of the junior varsity basketball player, and you're stunning the growth of basketball down the road in your program, and it's a short road. Fortunately, I don't think they're doing anything like that in junior high basketball, although I haven't been to a junior high basketball game since last year when I was coaching it. If anybody needs the work, again, junior high kids, it's 6-minute clock. Personally, I think junior high basketball should be 7 minutes. I think junior high basketball should be 7 minutes, and I think JV and varsity should be both 8 minutes. Just my humble opinion. I mean, again, if you want to, this is something that I think the OHSAA should most definitely look into and make a decision on. And maybe the Northeastern Ohio Board and all of the separate entities from the OHSAA should look at this. I mean, truth be told, junior high should be playing 7 minutes, and once you're in high school, it doesn't. 7 minutes, 8 minutes doesn't matter. Play your 8-minute quarters. JV varsity, it's I understand you're putting, you're progressing everything to where the junior high program is 6 minutes. You progress to junior varsity, which is 7 minutes. You progress to varsity, which is another 1 minute on the clock. Yeah, I understand that. I don't agree with it. I think junior high basketball should be 7 minutes, and I think JV and varsity should both be 8. Then again, if I go into college basketball, I don't think that I think women's college basketball did, without question, the single greatest thing in terms of what they did a few years ago, when instead of 20-minute halves, which I think is ludicrous, 20-minute halves is just absolutely ludicrous, you turned it into 10-minute quarters. And you give the team 5 timeouts, and you have a media timeout, 1 media timeout, actually 2 media timeouts during the course of a quarter. 2 media timeouts during the course of a quarter, and you play 10-minute quarters. And if you commit over 5 fouls in that 1 quarter, your team's going into the bonus. Beautiful. Genius. Why the men are still playing 20-minute halves is beyond me. I am not in favor, have never been in favor of the 20-minute half. Oh, we got the media timeout at the 16, the 12, the 8, and the 4. We got 4 media timeouts in the first half. Why? Just have a 10-minute quarter. 10-minute quarter, 2 media timeouts per quarter. You're going to accomplish the same thing. And oh, by the way, you get the end of the quarter break, which is a third break. And you still have 5 timeouts. I've never understood. Okay, I get it. It's a money thing with the NCAA. You've got your media timeouts at close to 16 and 12 and 8 minutes and 4 minutes. And, that's going to be, 2-minute, 2.5-minute timeout. You've got all kinds of stuff going on, and you go from there. Well, hell, you got, in the women's game, you got 2 media timeouts every quarter. I don't understand that. I don't get that. You got a media timeout and then your timeout at the end of the quarter. Okay, there you go. You got 4 in one half. It's the same 6-1, half dozen of the other. The only thing is you're playing in quarters. Do you see the NBA going, hey, let's play 24-minute halves? Hell no, they're not doing that. Men's college basketball is the only entity where they have a friggin' half a game. Why? I think when the women's basketball game decided, hey, we're going to go 10-minute quarters. Genius. Absolute genius. I look at this and I'm like, why are we playing halves? Nobody does that in basketball. I mean, this is like soccer. Now, the only difference is you don't have a running clock. And running clock, and then the guys that fake the injuries and scream that they're in all kinds of pain, and 30 seconds later, they're running up and down the soccer field. And the Academy Award-winning performance goes to da-da-da-da-da-da. Yeah. I've never understood that one. I've never understood why college basketball goes to halves. But, I mean, if I were the benevolent dictator of basketball, and I love the phrase benevolent dictator. If I were the benevolent dictator of basketball, 4 quarters. You're playing 4 quarters. Give me that. Don't give me that 20-minute bull crap. You're playing 10-minute quarters in college. You're playing 8-minute quarters in JV and varsity basketball. And you're going to play 7-minute quarters in junior high basketball. There you go. Have fun. And you get media timeouts in college ball. You don't get media timeouts. Although I wish we did have a media timeout in high school. I think it would be pretty cool. Unfortunately, that's not in the cards. But I've never understood the whole men's college basketball. Oh, we play 20-minute halves. What? Why? Just play 10-minute quarters. Well, we want to be different. Well, yeah, you're different, all right. I mean, don't get me wrong. I mean, it's perfect for television. And that's ultimately the reason why they're doing it. I mean, let's be honest. All of these sports, if you have billions, and I do mean billions of dollars being thrown in from the networks, then you know that the networks are going to be changing some rules. They're going to be the ones that are going to call the shots in terms of how much time is on the clock, or how many breaks they're going to get. You ever notice in the National Football League, and I think we all probably saw a little bit of it, the first round of the playoffs. Anybody notice that those breaks, those timeouts when the commercials were playing, did anybody notice last week that those commercials went a little bit further than the normal game? So this is where the baseball and football crowd, where everyone screams about too much time with baseball. And I agree. It's way too much time in between innings with baseball in the major leagues. Minor leagues never had that problem. I mean, all the years that I did baseball, it was a minute and a half. minute and 40 seconds tops. And then at 1:45, you're playing baseball. So essentially, all we did was play 90 seconds worth of commercials. 90 seconds worth of commercials in between innings. Enough time for you to go back on the air, little 10-second blurb, batter steps in, inning begins. In a regular season Major League game, now that we have television, 2 minutes and 15 seconds in between the whole stuff. So it's an extra 30-second commercial, and then you have the 15 seconds to set up the next half inning, and then you go from there. So it's an extra 30 seconds. In a nationally televised game and postseason nationally televised game, it's 2:45, where 2.5 minutes worth of commercials, 15 seconds of setting up stuff, and at the 2:45 mark, somewhere in that vicinity, everything goes on. To which I said, look, leave it at $1.30. I understand you're going to lose money. Well, not really. I mean, you raise the rates on the commercials for 1 minute and 30 seconds, 3 commercials instead of 3 30-second commercials instead of 5 30-second commercials. You raise the rates, and you force the people wanting to purchase this to spend more money. I mean, it's the easiest thing in the world. More importantly, you're taking 2 minutes off of each inning. Multiply that by 9, you're looking at 18 minutes. So what turns into a 3-hour game can now be a 2-hour and 42-minute game with the commercials and everything. Football, again, football is ideally, it's a 3-hour game. Nobody bitches about it. Nobody should. It's a 3-hour game. I mean, it's pretty exciting. Now, granted, the illusion of this is the most exciting game in the world, there's not nearly as much action as one would think. You have a play, and while the teams are in the huddle trying to figure out what the next play is, you got refried beans going on with the color analyst, and the great ones make a great job of dissecting what just happened in the last play. But it's refried beans. You're watching the play live, you get refried beans, and then we start the process all over again. Apparently, everyone loves refried beans that are football fans, but that's what you're getting. You're getting half live, half refried beans. But everyone loves it, so whatever. 3 hours for a game with the commercials in the regular season. But then you get into the postseason, and everything gets a little bit longer. Look, there's a reason why, well, let's see. The men's game, the first game of the divisional playoffs on Sunday will be played at 4:30. Be played at 4:30 at Lambeau. Now, normally, you would sit back and say, okay, 4:30 game at Lambeau. All right, well, we'll probably wind up playing the second game around 7:45. Nope, not the case. Not going to be the case. You're going to play the game at 8:15. Okay, no big deal. 8:15 in whatever. But the fact that you, in a regular season game, would be 1 o'clock and 4:15. The 1 o'clock game, and then, the 4 o'clock game would normally start at 4 o'clock. And more often than not, 1 o'clock game is over a little before 4, maybe right at 4 o'clock. This time around, it's 4:35. That's when the game is going to start in Green Bay. and they're not going to start the other game Saturday night in Buffalo until 8:15. On Sunday, Cleveland's going to play Kansas City. The game will start at 3:05. Well, you're figuring, okay, 6:15, 6:20, we'll go to the Tampa Bay New Orleans game. Nope, 6:40. Why? Because there's more commercials. A lot more commercials. That means that the game is going to be a lot slower. That means that, the action is not going to be very much because you're going to have probably an extra commercial break in there. But does anyone really have a beef with that? Probably not, but it's definitely slower. And you can tell. I mean, I don't know if anyone noticed, but I know I sure did. And maybe it's because I've been doing it for so damn long. You can tell when commercials are played a little bit longer. No, there's no two ways about it. Everyone's jumping on the football bandwagon and spending all kinds of money, and they'll put some extra stuff in. So long story short, with college basketball and with basketball in general, college basketball, that's what the networks want. That's why you're not going to see 10-minute quarters. Look, it makes all the sense in the world for the national or for college basketball, the men's college basketball, to have 10-minute quarters. It makes all the sense in the world. Have a media timeout at the 5-minute mark, and then the end of the quarter you've got more commercials. I think the women's game has a media timeout, one per quarter, and then at the end of the quarter they have another timeout, and then a normal halftime, and then the third quarter there's a wild card. There's an extra timeout, and this doesn't include the 5 timeouts that the coaches have. It doesn't include that. We all started this tangent on the 2 quarters thing, and it branched off into this. But long story short, marking the long journey back to where we started. I just can't stand JV games being just 2 quarters. Just cannot stand that. I understand why, but I don't agree with it in any way, shape, or form, because you're just not giving those kids the playing time that they need. You're just not. And I think that it's a bad idea. It's just a really, really bad idea. All right, 330-886-0813, the MP Vivo Heating and Air Conditioning Hotline open for business. It's a Friday edition of Running Point, presented by Greenwood Chevrolet on Mahoning Avenue in Austintown. Plenty of basketball on the network tonight. Plenty of basketball last night. One boys game, East knocking off Liberty. Plenty of girls games last night on the network. And let me just throw this out here again. Assuming that all of you have seen boys or girls basketball this year, is there a team, both in the boys or girls high school basketball, is there a team that you have seen this year that you believe without a shadow of a doubt this team is going to go to at least the district championship game? Do you believe there is a team that you've seen this year where you have no doubt whatsoever that this team, if healthy, barring injuries, in a perfect world, all things being equal, that this team, whichever team you saw, is destined to go, at the very least, a district championship appearance? Because I've been racking my brain, and I've seen a lot of good basketball, but I've not seen a team this year, boys or girls, where I can say with 100% certainty, all things being equal, this team will go to at least a district championship game. I've yet to see that team. Doesn't mean that there isn't any team that is going to be there. No, that doesn't mean that at all. Actually, I think there's a lot of teams that I've seen this year that have a shot at going to the district championship game. But I haven't seen a team yet this year where I can honestly say, slam dunk, send home the jury, this team is a district championship team. I haven't seen one yet. Looking to see if you have. Before we go to break, here are the numbers, the wise guys. These numbers have been pretty much staying where they are all week long. Green Bay started out a 7-point home favorite. The number went down a half a point. I believe Monday afternoon it went down a half a point. Green Bay is right now a 6.5-point favorite. And the over-under in this game is 45.5. Buffalo began their journey a 3-point favorite. This number went all the way down to 1, and it's gone back up, where Buffalo is now a 2.5-point favorite. The over-under in this game is under 50 now. The over-under in this game started at 50. It's now down to 49.5. Cleveland and Kansas City has been right where it's been all along. It's not moved at all. It opened at 10, and that's exactly where it is. Browns are a 10-point underdog. The over-under in this game is 57. And the last game on Sunday night, this game started out at 4. New Orleans a 4-point favorite. It's now down to 3. New Orleans is a 3-point favorite. The over-under in this game is 52. Those are the 4 games, divisional playoff round in the NFL. Those are the 4 games. I'll be curious. Who do you like in these 4 games? Who do you like in these 4 games? I'd love to hear your opinion on it. Give me a shout on the MP Vivo Heating and Air Conditioning Hotline, 330-886-0813. It's a Friday edition of Running Points. We're back in a bit. YSNLive.com.
No matter what the weather, be prepared with a reliable, efficient Rude gas furnace or air conditioner from MP Vivo Heating and Air Conditioning. Call your energy-efficient expert, MP Vivo, today for a free estimate.
Here at MP Vivo, we rely on Rude, and so should you.
Myers Family Insurance knows the importance of a great team.
Our team continues to grow to help you with your Medicare and retirement needs.
The annual election period is October 15th through December 7th. Now's the time to make sure your plan continues to meet your needs for the upcoming year.
Call today.
High-res Futurecast shows steady snow for the next few hours.
Still just downright cold.
It is bitter out there.
Several strong bands of lake effect snow.
Wind is kind of a big story today as well.
So if you need a more detailed winter forecast on WFMJ.com and the Storm Tracker 21 app.
I went to Greenwood Chevrolet because
I was really interested in looking at the tracks.
Because I wanted my dream truck.
Because I've been going there for 20 years.
I'm really happy that I went
to Greenwood Chevrolet.
Because they really went
the extra mile for me.
Now we're going the extra mile for you, only at Greenwood Chevrolet.
WRS Wealth Advisors is the area's premier wealth and retirement specialist. With our combined 70 years experience and comprehensive wealth strategy, we assist our clients attain their goals. Call 330-965-0370 to learn more about our individual and corporate financial planning services, or visit WRSWealthAdvisors.com. Good luck, athletes.
Hi everyone, this is DJ Yoakley with Your Sports Network. We appreciate your support of YSN and welcome you to the YSN family. Our broadcast streams are brought to you live at no cost to you by sponsors that are local to this community. Without the vision and generosity of our sponsors and partners, we would not be able to bring this game to you today. So please support the great businesses and leaders that are making this game possible. And if you're a business in need of great advertising and sponsorship opportunities, feel free to head over to our site for more information on the right fit for you. We are local, we are loyal, and we are live. We are YSN.
Ah, the details. Baird Brothers Fine Hardwoods is one fine ride. Perfect cornering, superb handling, sporty and stylish, power to spare, plus awesome mileage. Yeah, jaw-droppingly beautiful lines and well appointed with luxurious trim. Put more oomph in your life and start beholding the molding. Find your home's fine hardwood at BairdBrothers.com.
For heating, cooling, and indoor air quality, the Mahoning Valley trusts MP Vivo Heating and Air Conditioning, offering worry-free repair, service, and installation. Call MP Vivo today for a free estimate.
MP Vivo Heating and Air Conditioning. We're your energy efficient experts.
Welcome back to a Friday edition of Running Point, presented by Greenwood Chevrolet on Mahoning Avenue in Austintown. If you're in the market for a brand new or slightly used automobile, you most definitely need to check out the good folks at Greenwood Chevrolet on Mahoning Avenue in Austintown. They got a great sales department, unbelievable finance department, and their service department is second to none. Add all three of those ingredients up, you get a great car dealership. Before you make the commitment to purchasing an automobile, be it a new car or a used car, you need to see Greenwood Chevrolet on Mahoning Avenue in Austintown. All right, I'm not going to take a victory lap on this one because it was too easy to predict. And all of the folks, all of the homers from Ohio State, when Urban Meyer left, oh, he's never going to coach again. He would never do that. No, he's done. Look at him. He's done. This is the same Urban Meyer that talked about how bad his health was and when he was at Florida, and he tearfully left the Florida Gators and said, "Oh, I'm not very healthy." And then a couple of years later, he resurfaced. What about that health? No, I feel pretty good. Yeah, I'm feeling pretty good about myself. Yeah, I think that we're going to do really good things at Ohio State. And sure enough, he did a real nice job at Ohio State and used a health as an excuse, which is what it was. Look, the reality, and I'll say it, Urban Meyer was pissed that the university slapped him on the wrist for 3 games in 2018, and that's the reason why he quit. Health issues, bullcrap. And that the health issues were fictitious. And they're fictitious because ideally he clearly doesn't have health issues now because he just took the job with the Jacksonville Jaguars like we said he was going to yesterday. And I'll guarantee you he's taken this job based on the fact that, well, he gets the first-round draft pick. He gets the first pick in the draft. And let's be honest, Trevor Lawrence, a.k.a. Jeff Spicoli, he can be the first pick overall in the draft, and he should be. He's the best quarterback available in this draft. It's not even close, actually, and he'll be the first pick overall. But don't give me this garbage. And I said it in 2018 when he resigned from Ohio State. He's going to be coaching again, and all this crap about his health is that crap. It's crap. He didn't want to be at Ohio State anymore. Okay. You want to use it as an excuse or whatever? That's fine. I knew he was going to resurface because he's a coach. He's a coach. And by the way, he's phonier than a $3 bill. Sorry, he is. Okay, you get to the pros. Now, having said this, all things aside, I don't like Urban Meyer personally. I think he's an arrogant phony. Having said that, he's a damn good coach. Oh, my goodness, can he coach? He can coach. Now, there's a tad bit difference between college ball and the pros. I think people need to understand this by now. you're not going to go into a NFL game as a 40-point favorite like you did in a lot of your games at Ohio State or Florida. You're not going to go into a pro game demonstrably better than the other team, simply because the pro game is way more evenly matched. You don't have 2 or 3 teams and everyone else like we have right now in college football, which I think is just horrible. And I've made mention of this on a number of occasions, and this is probably the 56-year-old coming out in me and understanding life, where if I were 18 years old with a 56-year-old mind, of course, I would sit back and say, I'm not going to go to Ohio State or Alabama. Hell no. Number one, if I go to this place in a Power 5 conference team and they're in the Big Ten or the Southeastern Conference or the ACC or the Big 12 or the Pac-12, and I go to a mid-range type of team in that league, let's say Tennessee. The Volunteer fans don't want to hear this, but they're middle of the pack. At one point, Tennessee was upper tier, very elite in the Southeast Conference. They're middle of the pack, middle of the road. I would venture to say lower part of the middle of the road. Tennessee would be a great place. West Virginia, fantastic place. In the Big 12. Purdue, especially if I'm going to be an engineer. Oh, my God. Purdue's engineering college? Holy crap, is it good. I mean, it's known all over the place. If I was a kid that wanted to be an engineer, but I got Division I football skills, I'd go to Purdue. I'm going to get a great education out of this deal. And if my NFL career doesn't work out, then so be it. I'm going to go to one of these mid-pack Power 5 conference team, because I know a couple of things. Number one, I'm going to be on TV. I'm going to be on TV, whether it's the Big Ten Network or if my team is really good, I'm going to be on national TV because, well, I'm a Power 5 conference team. If my team's really good, the better I get, the more exposure I'm going to get. And more importantly, I'm going to start from day one. If I'm and I hate using the term 4 or 5 star because it just that's the process of that is phony, but for lack of a better way of doing it. If I'm a 4-star or 5-star athlete and I want to go over to a middle of the pack Power 5 conference team, I'm going to be playing from day one. I'm not going to be sitting out or redshirting. And if my goal is to go to the National Football League, I get to go to one of these schools in a Power 5 conference where I know I'm going to get publicity. And if my team is good, I'm going to be on national TV an awful lot. Hell yes, I'm going to do that. Why the hell would I go to Alabama, Clemson, or Ohio State right now? They're loaded. They got all kinds of people. I'm just another fish in a really, really large ocean. But if I go over to, say, Arizona in the Pac-12, if I go to Northwestern, well, not even Northwestern, they were upper tier this year. If I go to a Purdue in the Big Ten, a West Virginia in the Big 12, NC State or North Carolina in the ACC, if I go to a Tennessee in the SEC, I'm going to be seen. I'm going to be seen on their network. I'll be seen. And here's the thing. Parity doesn't exist in college football. It just doesn't. I mean, it's a painful lesson from this year, from the Corona year. We have 3 teams, actually 4 teams, and everybody else. And it was the 4 playoff teams. There was no question who the 4 playoff teams were going to be this year. Everyone wanted to make a case for Texas A&M. They wanted to make a case for Cincinnati. They wanted to make a case for some of these other teams. There was no question who the 4 teams were going to be. It was going to be Alabama, Clemson, Ohio State, and Notre Dame. That was going to be the top 4 teams. And in reality, Alabama, Clemson, Ohio State, you're going to take a couple of steps downward to Notre Dame, and then you're going to take a dropping step to about 5 or 6 schools, and then another steep step downward to the rest of the schools. There's no parity. In the NFL, there's parity. In the NFL, the worst team in the NFL, the New York Jets or the Jacksonville Jaguars, they're not going to be a 40-point underdog to Green Bay or Kansas City or New Orleans or Buffalo or any of the 8 teams left. Jacksonville's not going to be a 40-point underdog to any of those teams because there's parity in the National Football League. There's a big difference between college and the pros. The other part of this is, okay, Urban's going to make $10 million a year, apparently. And that's worth the experience of, I have health problems. Oh, yeah, those are going to go away. You're paying me $10 million. My health problems. Now, let me do this again. My health problems, yeah, they're gone. You've paid me $10 million. I don't have any more health problems because y'all paid me all kinds of Benjamins. Benjamins equal no more health problems. So, great, you're making your $10 million or whatever the heck it is. Your players are all going to be making bankroll. This isn't college football where your players aren't, well, let's be honest, some of the players are paid. I mean, I've told everyone about the $100 handshake. It happens. It happens on every college campus. A booster will have a $100 bill in their hand, and it's the $100 handshake is you shake the other person's hand, and the kid has $100. It happens on every campus. Don't kid yourself. It does. It happens on every major Division I campus. It just does. It just does. Trust me. But the kids aren't supposed to be paid. Well, in the pros, you got guys making some serious bank. The more known players are making a lot more bank than the minimum players. But even the minimum players are making some bank. You're not going to have as much cachet as a coach in the pros as you do as a coach in college football. Big difference. Now, if Urban gets himself a really good coaching staff and delegates duty to these really good assistant coaches, this could work. This could most definitely work. Look, Urban Meyer's as phony as a $3 bill, but Urban Meyer can coach, and he is really good at coaching. He knows the X's and O's. I'm not a fan of him personally. Again, I think he's phony, but he can coach. I will give him all the credit in the world when it comes to coaching. And I have said this for years. The successful franchises, the successful pro teams, all have this mantra. The players play. The coaches coach. The general manager is in charge of getting the coach the player. The president is in charge of the bean counting. in terms of the salary cap. Now, the general manager has the bean counting in terms of the salary cap and whatnot, and he gets a little bit of help because every team has a salary cap smart person. You know, they got the spreadsheet out, and they're trying to figure out whatever. The general manager is going to be doing the bean counting in terms of the players. The president is doing the bean counting for all the other stuff, the attendance in the game, the selling of the gear, the other stuff. The president is going to be in charge of all that stuff. The general manager is in charge of the football operations. And then you got the owner sitting on his or her backside with his or her family in the owner's box, sitting back and just enjoying everything. And the great owners don't go anywhere near the president, the GM, the coach, or the players unless one of these four is asking for them. Owner doesn't go anywhere near them. So you let the players play. You let the coach coach. The general manager's in charge of signing the players for the coach and, you know, making sure that the salary cap is in pretty good shape. The president is in charge of counting the beans, the money, with the attendance figures, the networks money, all the other stuff. The money responsibility outside of the game is all for the president. The owner just sits back and just loves life. That's how a football team operates. That's the mark of a great football team in the National Football League. That's it. That's where it is. That's where it is. So Urban Meyer comes in. If you let him coach, now they don't have a GM yet. They don't have a GM yet. But if you let Urban Meyer coach and you have the GM working with the head coach and they're in perfect harmony. Coach is asking the GM, hey, what do you think about this guy? And these guys are on the same page in terms of what player that we should be going after. These guys are, on the exact same page. Jacksonville could turn this around. No question. Jacksonville could turn this around. There's no question that they could turn this around. And I will say what I said yesterday. Urban Meyer doesn't take this job unless Jacksonville has the first pick in the draft. If Jacksonville didn't have the first pick in the draft, I don't think Urban Meyer takes this job. But Urban Meyer knows something that everyone pretty much knows about in the National Football League, and that's this. The quarterback is the most important position on the football field. There's no two ways about it. Now, is it the most important position in sports? You can make an argument it is. You can make an argument that it isn't. But at least in football, it is the single most important position on the football field, followed very closely by the left tackle, if the quarterback is right-handed. Because the left tackle is going to make sure that the quarterback doesn't go and get his eggs scrambled with a blindside hit. But the quarterback is huge. No two ways about it. Quarterback is huge. And Urban Meyer knows this. So when this job was open, and Urban Meyer's, hey, we got the first pick overall in the draft, and Trevor Lawrence happens to be the best quarterback coming into an NFL draft since Andrew Luck, this is a no-brainer. Because now I can get my guy, the best quarterback available in this draft, hands down, and I can work with possibly getting some people to come into Jacksonville. Here's one thing about Jacksonville people need to understand, and this is coming from someone who's been in that city once a year over a 6 or 7 year span. Jacksonville is a fun town. Jacksonville is, NFL circles, it's a franchise that they've seen some pretty nice stuff. I mean, they're not a Super Bowl championship team. I think they went to one Super Bowl. Pretty sure they did. They've hosted a Super Bowl. They went to one Super Bowl. But they're not they're not an elite team, obviously. They're, this year they're the worst team in the league. But historically, they haven't exactly had a tremendous amount of success. Now, back when Baselli was there, Mark Burnell, they had some good years. They had some solid years in Jacksonville, but nothing really that major. But they can get some people to play in Jacksonville. They can sign some free agents to play in Jacksonville. Jacksonville has something that the teams north of the Mason-Dixon line don't have, and that's sunshine practically 12 months out of the year. Now, Jacksonville doesn't get insanely cold, but for Florida, it gets a little chilly in the wintertime. It gets a little chilly in January. It's nothing major. I mean, you'll highs in the 50s, low 60s. Every once in a while, they'll go into the 70s. But it's nice. It's beautiful. Oh, my God, the town is great. The nightlife is incredible, especially over by the stadium. The Landing, which is a nice little area in Jacksonville that is just absolutely phenomenal. Jacksonville can be a player in the free agent market because Jacksonville is a really nice city. And just watch and see. There's going to be some uptick with the Jaguars. That if they allow Urban Meyer to coach, this could work. This has a chance of working. But, I'm not going to take a victory lap. I knew Urban Meyer was going to be back to coaching again. I thought it was going to be in the college rank. Who knew it was going to be in the pros? Let's go to the phone lines. You're on the MP Vivo Heating and Air Conditioning Hotline. What's up?
How you doing, my brother?
What's up, man?
Besides my weight, my blood pressure, and my bills, nothing much.
I hear you on all three, man.
But I was listening to you, and at the risk of not sounding like a homer, and I think there are three teams. One high school team definitely should make it, to the finals, district finals, right?
Okay.
And I'd have to go with the Warren G. Harding women's basketball team. It might be a disappointment if they didn't at least show up.
Okay. I haven't seen them play yet this year. Obviously this was a team that didn't lose an awful lot from last year's team. And they should be a solid team this year. Now, obviously, they got a lot of games that are going to have to be made up because most of December was basketball free because of the Trumbull County Health Board. So they're probably going to be minimum 15 games that will be. Hopefully, they'll be able to get 15 games in before the tournament.
And the other one is not just because I drove past her high school a few days ago. I tell you, that bridge being out just messing everything up. You can get lost out there. But I will never, ever, I'm sorry, I will never, ever count out Poland High School girls basketball or softball team. They find a way at the end of the season to be playoff ready. The team you see the fifth game of the season is never the team you see going into the tournament.
Oh, absolutely, agreed.
And I thought that, but it doesn't look this way. But I thought coming into this season, I thought both the Springfield boys and girls had a shot. But I don't know. I haven't really checked into it, but I'm pretty sure that they would think. Coming into the season, they might be a little bit further ahead than what they are now. What do you think?
Well, again, I mean, I've seen a good amount of basketball teams, but I haven't seen them all. And I will tell you right now, Emmanuel, of all the teams that I have seen this year, not one of them has prompted me to say there is no question, no doubt in my mind that this team is a district championship qualifier. I've yet to see a basketball team that I've seen this year where I can say without any hesitation this team is a district championship qualifying team. Now, it doesn't mean that they can't get there. It just I don't have the vibe that any team that I have seen this year, I just didn't see a team that where I sit back and go, wow, this team is without any hesitation, they are a district championship qualifying basketball team.
Well, there are two other teams that might have an outside shot, but I think they have to go to Canton McKinley. Boardman is usually in a tough seeding, very tough. And where does Cheney play at?
Well, Cheney's Division II, and they would be with Struthers, and they would be with Salem and West Branch and Ursuline and Poland and Canfield for that matter. So it's Division II is absolutely loaded. Now the hidden mystery in all of this is which other district tournament is going to combine with the Boardman district to have the supersized district where you get two district champions coming out of the supersized district.
Okay, well, speaking of that, and because we're talking high school, what do you think about expanding to 12 teams next year, and you think they'll keep it that way?
Well, I mean, it's, that the OHSAA, let's be honest, Emmanuel, this is a money thing. One extra round of the playoffs, that equals a lot more money. I don't like it because, and I thought about this, you're not going to see a ridiculous amount of Mercy Roll games, but you'll see a good amount of Mercy Roll games because the top 4 seeds aren't playing. From what I understand, when you get to the top 12, the first round, the top 4 seeds are going to be out. They're going to have a bye into the quarterfinals. So 5 will play 12, 6 will play 11, 7 will play 10, 8 will play 9. 1 plays the winner of 8 versus 9. 2 plays the winner of 7 versus 10. 3 plays the winner of 6 versus 11. And 4 plays the winner of 5 versus 12.
Well, isn't that better than number 1 starting off playing number 12? I think a little bit more, it's more competitive by giving the first 4 teams a bye. So the highest seeded team going into the first round is the 5th seed. I don't think we'll see as many blowouts if we did it. We see more if we did it a different way.
Oh, of course. Think? No, I agree with that. And it wouldn't make it. You wouldn't be able to get to 8 teams if everyone played. You wouldn't be able to get to 8 teams. You'd only get to 6 teams. So that's why you have to get it to 8, and the only way you can get it to 8 is have the top 4 seeds have a bye into the quarterfinals. Now, you ask some coaches, and we had this conversation this past football season. You ask some of these coaches, hey, what do you think of having a bye in the first round? And some of them liked it, and some of them didn't like it. It just depends on where you are. I mean, if your team is banged up, obviously you want to have that. You want to have that bye to get everyone healthy. But if your team's on a roll and you're playing some really, really good football, you don't want to have that bye week. That's the worst thing in the world for you.
Well, if that's all you got to worry about, then you've had a pretty good season. But what I'm thinking about is this, right? By adding those extra teams to the playoffs, does that give you the incentive to pump up your schedule a little bit more and maybe play that one extra tough game?
Well, there's 2 different ways of looking at it. I mean, I agree with what you're saying. You could conceivably sit back and go, okay, we can now pump up our schedule even more and go that direction. Or the other way of looking at this is, well, we don't necessarily have to really jack up our schedule now. Now we can lighten our schedule up a little bit and get in the top 12, where we're not going to have to play as tough of a schedule because they're inviting 4 more teams into the tournament. Some schools will look at it and say, well, because they're inviting 4 more teams, we don't necessarily have to play a really, really tough schedule to get computer points. Now we can just play somewhat of a normal schedule, couple couple of good non-conference opponents, and we can get into the tournaments that way now that they've expanded the field to 12 teams.
Okay, well, I know you don't like dealing in hypotheticals. You like dealing in the facts on the ground. But if for once, can I just have you put on that, was that Johnny Carson hat where he predicted the future with the envelope?
Yeah.
So we're talking Monday. What are you going to be saying about the 4 football games this weekend?
I'm hoping to say it's going to be Bills-Browns in the AFC title game. But I don't know if that's going to be the case. I'm hoping that it is. And I honestly think Cleveland has a legitimate chance to beat Kansas City. They have a legitimate shot at Kansas City. Wouldn't surprise me if it's Ravens-Chiefs. Wouldn't surprise me in the least. I'm hoping it's Browns-Bills in the AFC title game. The NFC, of the four games that are being played, the only one game that I can say I'm going to be stunned if this team doesn't win is the first game, Green Bay and the Rams. I am going to be stunned if the Los Angeles Rams beat Green Bay.
Why?
Because Goff isn't healthy, and the Rams are going up against the best quarterback in the National Football League. Even though the defense is solid, and Donald is just, he's incredible, and the Rams defense is solid, but they're going up against the best of the best in Aaron Rodgers. And I will be stunned if the Rams beat the Packers. I don't think the Rams have a chance in hell against Green Bay. And if they win this game, I will be stunned beyond belief if the Rams can beat Green Bay.
Plus bad weather in Green Bay, right?
Well, it's actually going to be pretty nice for Green Bay standards. I mean, it's like,
yeah, but for the Rams, it's not.
No, there's going to be some flurries, and it's going to and the temperature is actually going to be in the low 30s, which, you know, people in Wisconsin, they're putting the grills up. They're ready to cook some brats and have a little bit of fun, because that's a heat wave for the folks in Wisconsin.
Well, this is the last thing I'm gonna say, and I'm gonna wish you a safe and happy weekend. I was having a conversation with my nephew, and he's a Browns fan, youngster. Of course, young is a relative term. And I'm going to go ahead and say it, to all the Browns fans, the question is, why haven't the Steelers said anything to you guys? Well, basically, it's because we don't like you guys. But the bottom line is this. This is what the Cleveland Browns fans want to hear, and this is from a Steeler fan. You guys want to hear this. You beat us twice, okay, but we're the Steelers, you're not. But as a Steeler fan, even though I don't like the Cleveland Browns, I wish you guys luck this weekend, man. And if you make it to the Super Bowl, more power to you. But that still does not change the fact that we're the Pittsburgh Steelers. You are not, and we don't like you. Ronnie, have a good weekend.
All right, brother. Always a pleasure. 330-886-0813. In a perfect world, I would love to see Browns-Bills in the AFC title game. I'd love to see it. Whether or not I'm going to see it, it remains to be seen. It wouldn't surprise me if it's Ravens-Chiefs. Wouldn't surprise me if it's Ravens-Browns. Wouldn't surprise me if it's Bills-Chiefs. I just have a good feeling about the Browns on Sunday. I don't know why, but I have a good feeling about the Browns game on Sunday. I think the Browns have a legitimate chance to pull off that upset. And they're a 10-point dog, which is... boy, that number is huge. I think Cleveland has a legit chance. All right, the Crestview JFK game set for tomorrow morning has been canceled, so no girls basketball in Crestview tomorrow morning. The Crestview JFK game canceled, so no Rebels basketball on Saturday morning from Crestview. That, according to the athletic director, Paul Cusick. So we will not be doing the Crestview Warren JFK game on Saturday. However, there is basketball on the network tonight from Crestview. Crestview boys taking on Brookfield. That game will start somewhere around 7 o'clock. One of 16 games on the network tonight. If you're not planning on watching any of the games, do yourself a favor and check out Open Look. Mike Ackelson and the boys here at YSN headquarters, man, they're gonna have some kind of fun. They always do. Yeah, Open Look tonight, starting at 7 o'clock from the YSN headquarters here in East Palestine. So plenty of things to talk about. Hit me up on the MP Vivo Heating and Air Conditioning hotline, 330-886-0813. I guess, following up on what Emmanuel said, if I had gun to my head saying, all right, who are you picking? I'm going to say Browns-Bills in the AFC title game. And I'm going to say Saints-Packers in the NFC Championship game. And the only real comfortable, without any question, pick Green Bay on Saturday against the Rams, which pretty much it's probably going to be the Rams upsetting Green Bay. Now, I just think Green Bay is, good Lord, are they playing some good ball. They just are. And Rodgers right now, there's not a quarterback in the league that's better. With all due respect to Mahomes, with all due respect to Josh Allen, with all due respect to any other quarterback, there isn't a better quarterback in this game right now than Aaron Rodgers. There just isn't. And he's having an unbelievable year. Matter of fact, it's an interesting statistic that I heard this morning. Aaron Rodgers is one of 2 NFL quarterbacks to have 40 or more touchdown passes and fewer than 10 interceptions in a season. He's only one of 2 quarterbacks in the history of the National Football League to ever do that. Tom Brady is the other one. Brady did it once. Aaron Rodgers has done it 3 times in his career. He's up there. No two ways about it. Aaron Rodgers is up there. That's 1 Super Bowl title, but Aaron Rodgers is up there. He's right up there with the all-time greats. No two ways about it. 330-886-0813. We'll take a timeout. Be back with more. It is a Friday edition of Running Points, presented by Greenwood Chevrolet on Mahoning Avenue in Austintown. The MP Vivo Heating and Air Conditioning hotline open for business, 330-886-0813. Back in a bit.
Hello, I'm Greg Burbick with G. Burbick Farms. For the last 100 years, my family has farmed in Columbiana and Mahoning counties. I began raising cattle in 1996 with the goal of providing a better product for you and your family on the dinner table. Our grass-fed and grain-supplemented Black Angus beef are raised with no hormones, steroids, or antibiotics. We're known for our hometown-friendly service and incredible tasting products. We're locally owned and have customers across the tri-state area. Our products go from our farm to your family. Stop by our farm on New Buffalo Road or visit us on the web at gburbickfarms.com. Don't forget to like us on Facebook. G. Burbick Farms, it just tastes better.
Hi, this is Tommy Clem, owner of WRS Insurance Solutions.
WRS Insurance Solutions is a local independent agency that specializes in life, Medicare, long-term care, and disability products. Call us at 330-953-3722 or visit us at wrsinsurancesolutions.com to learn more.
Good luck to all the student athletes in the Valley.
Right now is a great time to get more for your trade-in at Tri-State Ford and drive home in a new or pre-owned vehicle. Choose from our great selection of new Ford models or pre-owned vehicles. Plus, get the Tri-State Ford Advantage, including a 10-year, 200,000-mile warranty and more. At Tri-State Ford, we'll pay you top dollar for your trade, but you don't have to purchase one of ours to sell us yours.
Customer focus, community driven. Tri-State Ford East Liverpool or visit tristateford.net.
No matter what the weather, be prepared with a reliable, efficient Ruud gas furnace or air conditioner from MP Vivo Heating and Air Conditioning. Call your energy efficient expert, MP Vivo, today for a free estimate.
Here at MP Vivo, we rely on Ruud, and so should you.
Myers Family Insurance knows the importance of a great team.
Our team continues to grow to help you with your Medicare and retirement needs.
The annual election period is October 15th through December 7th. Now's the time to make sure your plan continues to meet your needs for the upcoming year.
Call today.
High-res Futurecast shows steady snow for the next few hours.
Still just downright cold.
It is bitter out there.
Several strong bands of lake effect snow.
Winds is kind of the big story today as well.
So if you need a more detailed winter forecast on WFMJ.com and the Storm Tracker 21 app.
I went to Greenwood Chevrolet because
I was really interested in looking at the tracks.
Because I wanted my dream truck.
Because I've been going there for 20 years.
I'm really happy that I went
to Greenwood Chevrolet.
Because they really went
the extra mile for me.
Now we're going the extra mile for you, only at Greenwood Chevrolet.
Welcome back to a Friday edition of Running Point presented by Greenwood Chevrolet on Mahoning Avenue in Austintown. They changed the commercials on me, so now I'm trying to figure out, which is the last commercial played on all of these breaks. Yeah, because you hear them and you're like, okay, this is the last commercial, so I got to get ready for me to come back and be the professional or somewhat professional that I am. You anticipate when the break is, and you figure out, okay, this is the last commercial, so now I know when this commercial is going to end, so I can go immediately into this. Well, haven't figured it out quite yet. They switched them up on me a couple of days ago, I guess. All right, 330-886-0813, the MP Vivo Heating and Air Conditioning Hotline open for business. Joel Bitonio has been activated from the COVID reserve list. The Browns also waived safety Tedrick Thompson. He's been waived because the safety situation is very much stocked now. Everyone is back. 3 regulars for the Browns missing practice on Thursday. Jack Conklin is dealing with a hamstring. He's the starting right tackle. B.J. Goodson has a shoulder injury, and David Njoku has a hamstring injury. And those were the 3 guys that missed practice on Thursday. It appears that everyone should be a go. Denzel Ward is off the COVID list. Both Denzel Ward and Kevin Johnson are off the COVID list, and we'll certainly see those guys playing. I read a statistic somewhere where when Denzel Ward plays, the defense is actually number 11 in the NFL when he plays. I find that one hard to believe because there's still a pretty substandard defense, even when Ward plays, because the talent level just isn't there. But apparently the numbers would say otherwise. Keep in mind something else. I've been talking about limiting Kansas City's possessions, where you play a essentially keep away with Kansas City's high-powered offense by limiting their possessions. Again, keep in mind, in a typical National Football League game, the teams get anywhere from 10 to 12 possessions. You narrow that down to about 7, no more than 8, and the Browns get 33 minutes with the ball. And they knock the time of possession for the Chiefs down to 27 minutes. And Chubb and Hunt get over 130, 140 yards of rushing between the two of them. And the Browns don't commit more than 1 turnover. I think they have a really good chance at winning this ball game. Now, having said that, Browns have scored 40-plus points in 4 games this year. I don't know if they can beat Kansas City in a track meet, but they have scored 40-plus points 4 times this year. The last time being the game against the Steelers last weekend. Now, let me just preface all of that, last week's game aside. Look, one of the reasons why the Browns were able to put up all of those points, you got to keep in mind, they had a ridiculous amount of turnovers, the Steelers did, and the Browns cashed in on those turnovers. Kansas City's not going to turn the ball over 4 times like Pittsburgh did. That's not going to happen. Yeah, and more importantly, you can't base your hopes on a team, we're going to expect them to turn the ball over 4 times. Really? You're going to expect a team like Kansas City, who doesn't turn the ball over all that often, to suddenly turn the ball over 4 times? What happened against the Steelers was an anomaly. It was an anomaly. You're not going to get that again. And if you do, hey, God bless if you can do that. But you're not going to get that. There's about a 99% chance you're not going to get that again. Now, can the Browns score 40 on the Kansas City defense? Yeah, if everything goes right, sure. If everything goes right, Mayfield's done really, really well for himself. The last 10 or 11 games, he's single digits in interceptions. I think he's fewer than 5 interceptions the last 7 games. As long as he doesn't, turn the ball over, I could see the Browns scoring a lot of points. But I just don't think you want to get into a track meet with Kansas City, because Kansas City, they got all kinds of talent. And the Browns defense, again, even with Ward back, even though the numbers say, they're number 11 with Ward in the lineup, they're still, in my mind, not good enough to slow down a team like Kansas City. I wouldn't want to get into a track meet with Kansas City. That's no. That would be a disaster waiting to happen. Not to say that they can't beat Kansas City, because I think they have a good chance at beating Kansas City. But don't get into a track meet with Kansas City. I just as soon keep away with that high-powered offense. And I'll say this without any hesitation: the Browns are a better matchup against Kansas City than Buffalo is. Mainly because Buffalo's offense is predicated on the pass. They don't have much of a running attack. And the running attack got a whole lot worse now that Zach Moss is out. Whether they get production from T.J. Yeldon, Williams, or Singletary, who knows? But the running aspect, they don't have a bell cow type of running back. They just don't. And I think that Cleveland has a better chance at Kansas City than Buffalo does, because of the fact that Cleveland has that running attack. Not to say that Buffalo couldn't beat Kansas City, and they may see them in the AFC title game. Who knows? But Cleveland's a better matchup for Kansas City because of the fact that they have a dual threat. Let's get to the phone lines. Tony, you're on the MP Vivo Heating and Air Conditioning Hotline. What's going on?
What are you still doing in town? Everything okay?
Yeah, everything's good. Everything's good.
I thought you were going to try and head up there.
Well, I mean, it's only a 3-hour trip.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's only a 3-hour trip up there. I mean, it's simple. I can do a blind.
You've got to have your COVID certification.
Well, that's the tricky part of all of this. So we're up in the air with it based on that, and a couple of other things.
You'll be in the area then. God bless you. That'll be fun.
Yeah, but there's a few things up in the air. I've been keeping an eye on the weather forecast, and the weather forecast is tricky right now because right now it's calling for 1 to 3, and there's a chance we might see considerable more than 1 to 3 inches of snow. Just depends on where this is.
I think the 1 to 3 is lake effect though. I don't think 1 to 3 anywhere else though. So.
Yeah, it's lake effect right now, but there's a chance, depending on where this frontal system goes, there's a chance you could see a lot more snow in western New York and some of those areas. So
I will worry about you driving, but I will be cheering for a lot of snow.
Well, listen, hey, if there's a lot of snow, I'm going to be staying home because I know better than to go up to Buffalo in weather that's going to be really ugly.
Questionable, huh?
Yeah, I don't do anything until I get a really good gauge as to what's going to happen on Saturday night. There's a pretty good chance I stay home for this tomorrow night, but that's okay. I mean, 6 1/2 dozen of the other. Look, if there's snow on the ground tomorrow night, even though Baltimore is the better running team, I think the advantage goes to Buffalo because Lamar Jackson's never played a game in snow in his life, and you throw into it the
right. Their yardage includes his very elusive yardage. And
yeah,
you got to be running. You got to be going north south on bad fields.
Yeah, and the other part of this is the wind factor, and the wind tomorrow night.
Oh yeah.
From what I understand, it's going to be howling tomorrow night with a wind gust.
Well, it's supposed to hit around 20 toward the third quarter, so then maybe pick up from there. So.
Yeah, the wind gust is supposed to be tomorrow night somewhere in the neighborhood of 25 to 30 miles an hour, and it's going to be one of those snow showers, snow flying everywhere. And my guess is the second half there will be more snow on the ground than the first half, and it's going to be a lot more windy. All of this is advantage Buffalo because Josh Allen can throw a football through that kind of wind if the wind is at his face.
Real quick, sir. First time I ever saw Roethlisberger. And I was with my nephew. I just started watching football. We just started playing football in the early, must have been turn of the century. So Roethlisberger was in Miami of Ohio. They were doing one of those midweek games, and I was at his house, and I said, let's watch this guy. I heard about him. And they had, I guess it was effects from a hurricane or something, 60-mile-an-hour winds in Oxford. And this son of a gun was throwing spirals through the 60-mile-an-hour wind.
Oh, yeah.
You knew he was special at that time.
Oh, no doubt. No question about that.
Hey, is Anthony in or not?
No, he's out. He's out till next week.
Okay, well, I hope everything's okay with him. Before I make my smart-ass comment, he works about as much as Patrick Mahomes plays.
Now he's working hard behind the scenes. Believe me when I tell you.
Oh, I'm sure he is. And whatever the situation is, I hope it works out fine. I just had to get my go ahead, take a few more weeks off, Chief. See how rusty you are.
Yeah. Well, he if he comes in on Monday and the Browns beat the Chiefs, that may not be a good situation. Although,
well, let's be honest, who would you rather have this week in Buffalo? Would you rather have the Chiefs or would you rather have the Ravens?
Well, either one of them are a nightmare matchup. It's when you get this far, it's tough. I mean, in the perfect.
You're down to the final 8, and worst case, we've done pretty good getting the Final Eight this year. They've got some pieces to pick up. What do you think about the addition of the new running back?
I haven't heard what they're going to be activating. I know Williams and the kid who, ideally enough, was it yet? What the hell's his name? That starts with a Y again. Yeldon. He went off on Baltimore last year and had a really good game against the Ravens.
He's a good player. I mean, he was. Was he Alabama or Georgia?
I believe he was Alabama. Yeah, he was Alabama.
Yeah, and he was one of three runners platooning down there, and he did really well down there. So he's had some good years.
Yeah, it's I mean, losing Moss hurts, but then again, nobody's really stepped up and done a great job, and that's one thing. If the Bills could trade their late first round draft pick, if they're eliminated Saturday or eliminated in the title game or eliminated in the Super Bowl, I mean, we know that they're going to be picking no later than 25th at this point.
Time out. When did Nick Chubb get picked?
Well, he get picked in the second round, but again,
so everybody had a chance at him, and you just got to know what you want in running back.
Well, listen, in a perfect world, I'd take that first-round pick and I'd trade it to Cleveland for Nick Chubb right now, if we had that opportunity. Now, unfortunately, I think you'd get laughed out of the room if that were the case. But if I were the Bills, I would want to get on the horn and say, hey, what can I get for a Nick Chubb? What can I get for a Derrick Henry? And if you give up your late first-round draft pick, hey, I'll take it.
I'm not laughing at you. I'm laughing with you, I assume.
Well, I mean, look, obviously Tennessee and Cleveland would hang up the phone about as quickly as humanly possible. I mean, you'd have to be an absolute moron to trade one of those two guys for a first-round draft pick. But, hopefully the Bills are going to fix that running back situation in the offseason and get a little more depth in the offensive line, get a little more depth on the defensive line, and there's things to do, but the season ain't over yet, which is a good thing.
As we talk about the greatness of all these teams, and they are all good teams in there, but and people talking about Buffalo not being tested, there's only one team in the playoffs, and it may have been in the total playoffs, but at least in this round for sure, that has played a plus 500 schedule.
Yeah, Buffalo. That's it.
And that's the Bills.
Yeah.
It's the only team that's played a plus 500 schedule. Cleveland has played one of the worst schedules, or lightest schedules.
Yeah, because they were a third place team last year, so they got the third place teams from the two games, the two games that you have, because everyone plays 14 of the 16 games. They play those in your division. All of those teams in the division play the same 14 games. The only two games that are different are the two games that you play against two different divisional teams, and you play whichever team you finished last year. So if you're a third-place team, you'd play the third-place team from the division, the two divisions that come into play with this.
Well, I'm going to make a prediction only because how well I predicted last week. The Ravens will romp over the Bills this week. That's my prediction.
Okay. Yeah. I see what you're doing with that reverse psychology. I see what you're doing.
I'm trying to do. The reverse psychology of the gods, right?
Yeah, I see what you're trying to do. Yeah. That okay. All right. Yeah.
You know what? At this point, I think they've met probably early season expectations.
No.
I know we want more.
Yeah. Listen. No. I have officially said BS on that. I said it weeks ago. They have to go to the AFC title game.
You need one more game.
I need one more game. I need them to go to the AFC title game, and then I can sit back and say, okay, win or lose. And let me just throw this out here. If the Bills go to the AFC title game, I'm going to want them to go to the Super Bowl, and I'm going to want them to win the Super Bowl. I mean, that's because I'm greedy that way. But
you don't need a fifth Super Bowl loss, do you?
No. I need that like I need a hole in my head. But if they get to the AFC title game, depending on who they play, look, I'll even throw this out there. If the Browns play the Bills
there you go.
in
We're
the
home.
AFC title game, I am not going to accept a loss in the AFC title game by the Browns because the Cleveland Browns are not as good a football team as the Buffalo Bills.
And it's a home game.
And it's a home game. So I would be pissed beyond belief if they lost to an inferior team at home. That would be the one scenario where I would sit back and be really, really angry. But if the Browns or if the Bills went to Kansas City, okay. And it's if you lose to Kansas City in Kansas City, okay, it stings, but you got to the AFC title game. You achieved everything that everyone had said at the beginning of the year, and toward the end of the year, you've achieved what you were supposed to achieve, and realistically, and you get beat by a better team. I'm fine with that. But again, the concentration should be on the Ravens. But if the Bills get to the AFC Championship game and they're playing the Browns, I'm gonna be pissed if they lose to an inferior team at home in the AFC title game. And make no mistake about this, and I'm not saying it because it's arrogance, I'm saying it because it's the damn truth. The Browns are not in Buffalo's class.
Yeah, no comment on that. You know that I love some of the Browns.
Well, I do
love me
too.
Myles Garrett, though. He needs to learn not to take plays off. That's
You're right.
the only thing that bothers me about him.
Yeah,
that's the only thing.
You're
'Cause
right.
He's a freak.
I agree with you. And unfortunately, he was taught by someone who, at the beginning of his career, had been known to take a couple of plays off a game in Buffalo, in Bruce Smith. So, and Bruce Smith, he schooled him in his rookie year. He was teaching him all kinds of stuff. And the more I see Myles Garrett play, this is a frightening thought. The more I see Myles Garrett play, the more I see Bruce Smith and that potential. But he has not even come remotely close to that potential quite yet. Now, in all fairness,
Bruce Smith had a great career, but pure athleticism. Bruce Smith wasn't as athletic as Myles Garrett.
I would beg to differ. I would beg to differ. He was every bit as athletic.
Really?
But what separated these two? And again, the unfair advantage of all of this is Bruce Smith is now retired and he's in Canton. I can only go by how long Myles Garrett's been in the league, and that's now 4 years. And you compare to what Bruce Smith did in his fourth year. Bruce Smith really didn't take off and become elite to the point where he was Defensive Player of the Year caliber elite until his fourth year, and then moving forward, he became even better. Myles Garrett took that step at about the same time, but he hasn't come up production-wise this year to what Bruce did in his fourth year, if I'm remembering the numbers correctly. But after the fourth year, oh man, Bruce Smith was untouchable. He was unbelievable. And I think Myles Garrett is going to be a great Hall of Fame caliber defensive lineman.
As we throw out the accolades, there are so many out there right now, though, because I look at that defensive line and the athleticism. Chase Young, you've got the Bosa brothers, you've got oh my gosh,
Aaron Donald. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, Aaron Donald.
Yeah.
Maybe end up being the greatest of all time.
Well, I'm gonna say it right now, and I said it earlier in the week, and I'll say it again. I saw Joe Green play in his prime. I saw Warren Sapp play in his prime. I saw some of the greatest defensive tackles in Canton, Ohio, playing in their prime. Aaron Donald's better.
Yeah,
Aaron
Donald
is better.
Only about 6'1".
Yeah, he is the closest thing to Lawrence Taylor on defense that I have ever seen. And there's look. I mean, Taylor was, he played a completely different position, but as far as a guy that you have to know at all times where he is, and you have to have one or two bodies on this guy, and you have to make sure that he's held accountable. Donald is that type of player. he's better than any defensive tackle I have ever seen in this game, and I've been a fan of this game for over 50 years. He's better than anything I've ever seen at defensive tackle.
And I have to agree. And again, back to the nice kid stuff. You know, he's intense. He's whatever he is on the field. But nobody trains harder than that kid does, and nobody has more passion. And nobody takes less plays off than Aaron Donald. First of all, he's in the middle. He's not on the end. So he takes a play off, he gets run over.
Yep. Yeah, I wish Ed Oliver had a tenth of his talent.
Yeah, we hoped when he came in. I mean, that's who they wanted to compare him to, but there ain't no comparison.
No. I kept hearing coming out of Houston, he's got a motor. Well, I haven't seen this motor yet. Maybe he needs more oil.
The motor early in his career was in his jaw, I think.
Yeah, well, maybe he needs more oil to get the motor going, but he's nowhere near as the player that I thought he was going to be. And
the Tin Man, huh?
Yeah. Well, look, I mean, he's in his third year, second year. I mean,
he's only in his second year.
Yeah, I'll patiently wait. Maybe he gets this all together in his third year. I mean, Myles Garrett took a lot of plays off in their first 2 years.
I looked at the free agents after last week, and I told you I was, I don't know, somewhere between disappointed and angry, maybe angry at myself for putting too much on these guys too early. Their defensive line has issues, and I don't know if it's coach or whether they need that catalyst that can help these guys come along. You know, an Aaron Donald type. And I look, and there is no free agents, defensive line free agents of any caliber out there next year.
No, there really isn't.
Because we got the money, we can go out and grab somebody to train the Epenesas and the Olivers and those guys.
Yeah, and I love what Epinesa has done toward the end of the year. He's certainly improved in his rookie year, but I've been disappointed to this point in Oliver, and hopefully he shows up on Saturday night because Lord knows they're going to need him. Because Baltimore that running attack scares me.
That Epenesa is 6'6", and he was under 250 at a defensive end. That's a little lean. They're trying to get him back up. First of all, they asked him to go down, and he did what they asked him to. He leaned up, and now they're asking him to go back up.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. I mean, it's I'm looking forward to the game Saturday night, but I know that Baltimore, like Indianapolis, they'll bring it. It'll be a fun game, and hopefully the Bills survive.
John Harbaugh.
Yeah, well,
John Harbaugh.
He's the other guy that scares me too, because this guy, unlike his brother, this guy knows how to coach, and he.
You know I went out with their cousin.
Oh, really?
I've never met these guys. Their families. Everybody thinks they're from Michigan. They may have been born in Michigan. I don't know, but their family's originally from Crestline. I can't remember. It's over the
Crestline.
Over by Massillon.
Yeah, Crestline. It's west of Massillon.
Right on 30.
Yep.
Yeah, but that's where their father Jack was from originally.
Interesting.
And their first cousin, but yeah.
Yeah, he's a good coach. That's a good team. And J.K. Dobbins, he's turning into a really nice running back.
You mentioned Dobbins. Let me before I get off, I forget what I wanted to mention. So Urban Meyers gets the job in Jacksonville with a boatload of picks. You know who he wants at quarterback, correct?
Well, he wants Lawrence. There's no two ways about that.
You think he wants Lawrence, or you think he wants his guy from Ohio State?
Nah, he's not. He's as loyal. He's as loyal as a dog with rabies. He ain't loyal.
Okay.
Yeah, he's gonna want
because
Trevor
that
Lawrence.
First pick, everybody wanting Trevor Lawrence is worth a ton, and you can get between the receivers and the the other potential quarterbacks out there, the Jones kid out of Alabama, and you may be able to trade down a handful of picks and pick up a lot of more trade value.
Well,
draft value.
Yeah, but he already has a lot of picks. I mean, Jacksonville has a ton of picks in this draft. So, if you get your franchise quarterback, and I don't know their situation salary cap wise, I got to believe that they're in a pretty decent shape. And I made mention of this. Jacksonville is a fun town. So I can't imagine anyone would pass up an opportunity to go to Jacksonville. And by the way, Jacksonville is the number 1 ranked team with 57 million. I'm sorry, Jacksonville is the number 1 ranked team in terms of salary cap space. They have approximately $71.9 million of cap space. They're number 1 in the National Football League right now.
Wow. This is going into next year, right?
Yeah, this is going into 2021. Right now,
where are the Bills, if you wouldn't?
let me run down here. Buffalo has $765,642. That's where they are, and the Browns are at $24,381,179. So the Browns can make a couple of fun decisions. I think.
Where did you say the Bills were?
Buffalo's less than $1 million right now.
Ooh.
Yeah, they're less than $1 million.
Well,
they're right at the cap.
They haven't cut guys to free. Trent Murphy and a few other guys got to.
Yeah, they'll make up some cap space, but right now they're.
Plus, this is a big year. They may eat up some of that space when they negotiate a longer contract with Allen.
Well, that's true, ultimately, all you have to do is just give him the 5th-year option. And then you have the entire year to get together and try to sign him to a long-term deal and go from there.
Yeah, I think isn't the best negotiating ploy to catch him before the 5th-year option?
Well, absolutely. Now,
after his 5th-year option, he's a free agent, right?
Yeah, but you can also put the tag on him, the franchise tag on him. It's a lot different than Major League Baseball and the other sports where, once you're a free agent, if you're unrestricted, you can go anywhere you want to. In football, they have the franchise tag,
right.
and the Bills will always put the franchise tag on him. Yeah, they can do that twice, and then, by the time Allen's done, he's 7 years, 8 years into the NFL, then he can become a free agent. Well, then he's on the other side of 30. His value isn't as much, although I'm sure that he'll probably sign a pretty nice contract.
He's actually 7 years in. He's not even 30, but by the way.
Yeah. Well,
he's 24 now, so he's already 3 years in.
Yeah. Look, the Bills.
So 4
the Bills.
Years. He's only
Yeah, and he's not going anywhere. He loves it in Buffalo, and the Bills want to keep him. Obviously, the franchise quarterbacks don't go anywhere very often.
Okay, my friend, go Bills. But hey, it's been a great season regardless. And
no, you can say that. That's fine. I'm going to be mad as hell if they lose Saturday night. That's
Well, this is my way. I was sick last week, so I can't put too much on. I was angry. I was disappointed. I don't know. I went through all the emotions last week after I expected.
Well, I
expected too much.
Tony,
and I knew the Colts were good.
Oh yeah, they were the best team of the losers. They were the best team in the playoffs, and right. I will continue to say they were the only team in the playoffs this year that had a top 10 offense and a top 10 defense. They were tough. They probably should have won, but they didn't, and that's the bottom line. But I told someone last weekend after the game, I said, if the Bills continue to play that brand of football where you don't know the final score, you don't know the outcome until the last play of the game, I will pretty much be wearing a heart monitor by the AFC title game.
And you know what? Yeah, I was there last week too. But remember who this kid is, though. At the end of the first half, you saw who he was.
Yeah.
Say, go get him, and he'll go get him for you.
Yeah, that's true.
Say, the leash is off. Go do your job. And like the end of the first half, right down the field score, right?
Well, I just, in a perfect world.
He's had a career of that. As bad as he's played at points in his career, at the end of the halves and in 2-minute situations, he's normally played extremely well.
And knock on wood, in the red zone, he's been exceptional as well. But, at the end of the day, they need a running attack outside of him running the football and scaring the hell out of
That interception stat, to your point, that interception stat in 3 years, he's never thrown a red zone interception?
I'm knocking on wood as you say that because I don't want that.
Wow. That is like bizarre to me.
Yeah, it is. It
Let's hope it
definitely
doesn't
is.
happen in the Super Bowl like it happened to Wilson.
Yeah. Well, look, I mean that was pure ignorance. You have the best running back in the game on the 1 yard line, and you're not even giving him the ball. Jesus. Yeah. For all the so-called greatness that Pete Carroll allegedly brings, that wasn't one of his finer moments for sure.
He is. If you follow them, it's amazing how conservative he is. Amazing.
Oh, I know. Yeah, it is. You're 100% right. And I know if I were coaching that team, I wouldn't be sitting on Russell Wilson for 3 quarters and then, I'm behind. Okay, Russell, go do your thing in the fourth quarter.
Russell
I wouldn't be doing
Wilson
that.
And Metcalf.
Yeah.
And the other receiver, slipping my mind right now, but he's really very good too.
I don't understand how anybody can sit back and go, we're going to run the ball. You have Russell freaking Wilson at quarterback. You have DK Metcalf as his wide receiver. What are you thinking? Throw the ball. Let these two kids do their thing. Good Lord.
Yeah. Well, hey, have a good week and have a safe trip if you go up there. And that's it. Have a great day.
Should be fun. See you, Tony. 330-886-0813. I'm still up in the air on this. The COVID thing, that can be taken care of. But, just the whole weather thing kind of bugs me. As far as driving up there, I mean, it's the easiest drive. Go up 11 to Ashtabula, take I-90, go across 90, across Pennsylvania, across New York, exit 57 of the New York Thruway, and you'll head toward Orchard Park. I think it's Route 20. It's Route 20 when you get off the turnpike on exit 57, and then you take 20A. That goes right into Orchard Park, and you run right into the stadium. It's in the middle of a freaking neighborhood. It's one of the reasons why I love the stadium, and I love places where, downtown stadiums are cool. Don't get me wrong. It's the Browns. They kept their stadium, their football stadium, where the old stadium was, and right off the lake. Okay, it's pretty cool. But with the Cavs and the Indians, you got a downtown facility. You got the Indians and the Cavs right next door to each other in downtown Cleveland. It's phenomenal. In Pittsburgh, you got Three Rivers. You've got Heinz Field. It's not necessarily downtown, but it's close enough where it's in that really nice district. The Penguins arena is in downtown, and these are nice places. Give me a Wrigley Field. Kind of a place where way back when they built Wrigley Field, it's in the middle of a neighborhood. It's in the middle of a friggin' neighborhood in Wrigley Field. It's a neighborhood. There are homes in this where this stadium is. There are homes, condominiums, and high-rise apartments and whatnot. Well, there are literally homes across the street from the stadium where the Bills play in Orchard Park. Now, I've told this story years and years and years ago when I first started going to games up in Orchard Park. And to this day, the people in a non-COVID world, they do this. The homes in Orchard Park are pretty nice. It's an upscale, very nice suburb of Buffalo. Think of Boardman, Poland, Canfield, Austintown. Very nice suburbs of Youngstown. On a bigger scale, Orchard Park. Orchard Park is gorgeous. I mean, you had beautiful, beautiful homes in Orchard Park. Well, across the street from the stadium, there's 2 or 3 homes that have magnificent front yards, huge front yards, and their backyards are just as big. So they're sitting on an acre or 2 of land. These homes, they're sitting on about an acre, 2 acres of land, and these people are parking cars in the front lawn and in the back. You go past their driveway, garage. You put the car off the driveway, in between the house and the garage, and you got all this room, all this real estate in the back, and you're parking cars in the back. There's one place directly across the street from the stadium that can fit, and I am not lying when I say this, nearly 100 cars. Front yard and backyard, nearly 100 cars. So you can imagine they're charging $10 to park the car, which, well, you know, it's go to the stadium across the street, it's probably 20, 25, 30. Now, this was back in the day. They were doing $10. I'm sure now parking in the stadium is $30 and $40, and I'm sure they're charging $20. So you can imagine 100 cars parking over there at $20 a pop. Do the math. That's $2,000 per home game. Multiply that by 8. $16,000 just by parking cars on your property. No problem. Now, way back in the day when it was like $5, because back in the 70s and early 80s, $5. All right, $5. 100 cars, $500. And everything was good for the first, I don't know, year or two. And then someone from the IRS looked over and saw, oh, this person's making $500 a day just by having cars parked in this person's home, in the front yard and the backyard. And they're like, yeah, you're going to be having a W-9 here because there's no way in hell we're going to allow you to do this without you paying Uncle Sam. So about 2 years in, the folks across the street, the three or four homes across the street from the stadium in Orchard Park, as you drive toward the village, because the road 20A, you're about a third of the way down this road in Orchard Park. You're just inside the village limits, but you're really not into the really gorgeous part of Orchard Park. But it's still very spacious. A lot of homes, very spacious, especially across the street from the stadium. So all these people 2 years in were finally getting W-9 forms saying, yeah, you're going to have to pay taxes on this. So now, when it's not COVID world, in the last few years, $20 to park your car across the street, $100 cars, $20, $2,000 right there per home game. Multiply it out by 8. $16,000. So somebody could be making some pretty good bank. And oh, by the way, well, along with a house payment, oh, by the way, we're bringing in $16,000 with all these people parking their cars on our front and backyard lawn. I'd like to own a home right next to a stadium in the middle of a residential neighborhood like Buffalo. That's phenomenal. And it's just a great place. And the tailgate lot is incredible. And it's just, give me not just in Buffalo, give me a stadium that's in the middle of a residential neighborhood. Now, the bad news in this is it sucks. I mean, it sucks to get out of this because it's a 2-lane highway. Now, game times, they have people driving on the berm on either side. So they open it up to a 4-lane highway, and they have people driving on the berm. So it's essentially large enough to be a 4-lane highway to either get in or go into the village of Orchard Park. And my late aunt and uncle's home was 2.5 miles from the stadium. Like 2.5 mile from the stadium to the house, about 2.5 miles. So you'd make a left-hand turn out of the stadium and drive into the village, and the house is right there. So it wasn't that big of a deal in terms of once you get out of the parking lot, everyone's turning to the right, not turning to the left. So it was pretty easy once you got out of the parking lot. But good Lord, getting out of that parking lot is a pain in the ass because there's not a major thoroughfare. You don't get a major thoroughfare for about 5 miles because you got to travel out of Orchard Park. And then, oh, by the way, you make a left-hand turn if you want to go back on the thruway, and you still got to travel about 2 more miles before you get to 90. And if you want to get into Buffalo, or go to Buffalo, I guess you can make a left-hand turn and then go into the interstate that has a Orchard Park exit that was made in the 70s. But yeah, it's a pain in the ass to get out of in the parking lot. But other than that, oh God, I love my stadiums in residential neighborhoods like Wrigley. Wrigley's a pain in the ass to get out of too. Now the good thing is the subway system, or the L train in Chicago, makes a stop right at Wrigley. So the folks that aren't driving to the ballpark in Chicago, I mean, you can take the subway, you can take the L train, and it doesn't cost that much. I mean, it's no big deal. Washington D.C. When I went to the All-Star game, if you take the subway, the Metro as they call it in D.C., if you take the Metro, it drops you off, literally drops you off steps from Nationals Park in Washington. But give me a stadium in the residential neighborhood any day of the week. Oh, I love it. All right, 330-886-0813. We're back in a bit. Stick around.
No matter what the weather, be prepared with a reliable, efficient Ruud gas furnace or air conditioner from MP Vivo Heating and Air Conditioning. Call your energy efficient expert, MP Vivo, today for a free estimate.
Here at MP Vivo, we rely on Ruud, and so should you.
Myers Family Insurance knows the importance of a great team.
Our team continues to grow to help you with your Medicare and retirement needs.
The annual election period is October 15th through December 7th. Now's the time to make sure your plan continues to meet your needs for the upcoming year.
Call today.
High-res Futurecast shows steady snow for the next few hours.
Still just downright cold.
It is bitter out there.
Several strong bands of lake effect snow.
Winds is kind of the big story today as well.
So if you need a more detailed winter forecast on WFMJ.com and the Storm Tracker 21 app.
I went to Greenwood Chevrolet because
I was really interested in looking at the tracks.
Because I wanted my dream truck.
Because I've been going there for 20 years.
I'm really happy that I went
to Greenwood Chevrolet.
Because they really went
the extra mile for me.
Now we're going the extra mile for you, only at Greenwood Chevrolet.
Planning a project around your home or rental property? Trust the electrical service to the local experts with 62 years of serving the Mahoning Valley. Joe Dickey Electric is your local go-to source for responsive, reliable residential electrical work. From everyday maintenance and repairs to new installations, electrical upgrades, and safety inspections, no job is too big or too small. Call Joe Dickey Electric today, 800-549-3976, or visit DickeyElectric.com. That's DickeyElectric.com.
WRS Wealth Advisors is the area's premier wealth and retirement specialist. With our combined 70 years experience and comprehensive wealth strategy, we assist our clients attain their goals. Call 330-965-0370 to learn more about our individual and corporate financial planning services, or visit WRSWealthAdvisors.com. Good luck, athletes.
Hi everyone, this is DJ Yoakley with Your Sports Network. We appreciate your support of YSN and welcome you to the YSN family. Our broadcast streams are brought to you live at no cost to you by sponsors that are local to this community. Without the vision and generosity of our sponsors and partners, we would not be able to bring this game to you today. So please support the great businesses and leaders that are making this game possible. And if you're a business in need of great advertising and sponsorship opportunities, feel free to head over to our site for more information on the right fit for you. We are local, we are loyal, and we are live. We are YSN.
Ah, the details. Baird Brothers Fine Hardwoods is one fine ride. Perfect cornering, superb handling, sporty and stylish, power to spare, plus awesome mileage. Yeah, jaw-droppingly beautiful lines and well appointed with luxurious trim. Put more oomph in your life and start beholding the molding. Find your home's fine hardwood at BairdBrothers.com.
For heating, cooling, and indoor air quality, the Mahoning Valley trusts MP Vivo Heating and Air Conditioning, offering worry-free repair, service, and installation. Call MP Vivo today for a free estimate.
MP Vivo Heating and Air Conditioning. We're your energy efficient experts.
Welcome back to a Friday edition of Running Point, presented by Greenwood Chevrolet on Mahoning Avenue in Austintown. Before we get out of here, let's run down the list of games on the network tonight. And, of course, you'll be able to see a lot of those if you tune in to Open Look with Mike Ackelson and the fellas from the YSN studios here in East Palestine. We'll have the JV boys basketball game tonight from Lakeview. Struthers in Lakeview. That game gets underway at 5:30. Here are your varsity games that will start somewhere around 7 o'clock tonight. Fitch is at Boardman, East at Canfield, Camel at Champion, Brookfield at Crestview. Valley Christian at East Palestine, Steubenville at East Liverpool, Indian Creek at Edison, Hubbard at Girard, Newton Falls at LeBray, Struthers at Lakeview, Maplewood at Leetonia, Columbiana visits Lisbon, Jefferson at Niles, Lowellville at Springfield, Alliance at West Branch, and McDonald at Western Reserve. Those are the games that are going to be on the network tonight. All of those varsity games starting somewhere around 7 o'clock. And, of course, you can watch Open Look with Mike Ackelson and the fellas tonight on ysnlive.com. Do so. I'll be at the Crestview game tonight. Best of luck to all the teams tonight. Best of luck to all of the teams playing in the playoffs. Playoffs this weekend, hopefully. Fingers crossed. Hopefully it's a Browns-Bills AFC championship game. That would be fun. Thanks for all the fine phone calls. Thanks for all these sponsorships. And we're out of here. Make it a great weekend, everyone. DJ and the boys coming up next with Power Hour. That's all coming up. It is a Friday, and I'm out of here, and we'll have some fun doing basketball from Crestview tonight. Keep it tuned. Power Hour is coming up next. Have a great